So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner, and he is patiently, or maybe not so patiently, waiting for his Cowboys to get started playing. They're in some contested playoff situation. The song was above my head and all that, but nevertheless, we are here for the time being. I should also say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. Also like to say a big giant thank you and hello to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation, or I should say X now. I keep saying Twitter. I'm probably always going to say Twitter. But not only are you just viewers, you are family, and we also share the link from time to time. You got to come up here and speak your opinion or ask a question. All I ask is that if I've never seen you on here before, please show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen so that I can verify that there's no shenanigans, right? Like you are who you say you are. Also, hey, Panther Strike, how you doing? T-Pop, what's going on with you? We are going to be talking about a couple of things today, but we're going to start off with a situation that took place in Illinois, Harvey, to be exact, where a landlord figured that he or she, whoever they are, would board residents up in a dilapidated apartment building with them still in there. Of course, y'all, we're going to talk a little bit about Cat Williams. As y'all know, that has captivated the internet for the almost a week now, where he went on Club Shay Shay, that is owned and operated by Shannon Sharp. And it was a hell of an interview, I would say, that went almost 3 hours, and it's at about 27 million views since Wednesday, which is like, wow, right? So we're going to talk about some things that came out of that. I guess basically I want to ask y'all, what was y'all favorite moment or takeaway, whatever it was. I watched the whole thing in its entirety, uninterrupted, and I still laugh about some of the things that I saw and heard on there. And then also, if we have time, I want to get to something that happened in Miami, where there may or may not have been some aliens running around there. I don't know. It depends on who you're asking, who you believe. With that being said, who else is on here? DJ Charisma, long time no see. Tish, how are you doing? Mike Nice, what's going on? Malika, how are you? And Donovan, what's on your mind, brother?
Well, again, America's team. If you are not for us, you are against us. And if you want America to win, then you should be having the Cowboys win today if you want America to win. So anyway, in all seriousness, I know my delusion is real, but it's been almost 30 years since the Cowboys won a title. I mean, it's just eating me up. We should have had at least 8 by now. But anyway, welcome to the Demetra K Show. You know, when it's Sunday, that means it is Demetra K. Great subjects that are coming up. Do us a favor, if you guys are coming in as your first time listener, let us know where you guys are listening from. And also hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Your average logical thinker is good to see you. A lot of you guys have followed us for a long time. We want to thank you guys, especially those of you guys that have been with us for a very, very long time. Without you guys sharing the program and getting the information out there and, and opening some people's eyes, we wouldn't be where we're at. And I don't really go on my YouTube channel as much as I want to, because it wasn't political season. I'm getting back on it. And Demetra, last I checked on my YouTube channel, I had like 50 something subscribers. Now I've got like 1,000 or something subscribers. And I was like, oh, damn. So I think I got to get back on there. But I'm a political person. So, I like to live life before I do anything else. So do us a favor and do that. I want to also remind you guys of, we have a scrolling banner down there. I want you guys to take the time, if you so choose, to keep Demetra motivated and you would like to donate, by going to that banner and donating toward that banner and those applications. She gets 100% of your donation versus the YouTube, which takes 40%. It's almost like that's one hell of a pimping, 40% of a contract, to take that thing. Also, real quick, we have the African Diaspora News app. If you guys should, and we're getting there. We're going to push this really, really heavily. Go down and download it, AfricanDiasporaNews.org. You can also do that and sign up, and that way you can see Demetra K, brother Phil Scott, Wongel, a whole bunch of things that deal with the African diaspora and the news that is going on. Because what I'm finding is, because I'm a member, I get my little alerts. Vicky Dillard, all this stuff that has to do with what's going on in Chicago, things that affect me, and also the diaspora in general that I wouldn't even think of. So once we start going to our own platform, we can talk about things that deal with us. And so please push that as well. And number one, the most important thing to do is to share this on your platform. Share it on your platform, because I know your friends look at it and they say, what the hell's that, or what's going on with that? So thank you guys for tuning in. And again, if you're not for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, then you're not for America.
Oh my God. Anyway, who else came on here before I get into it? Troy, how you doing? And Tish, I'm sorry, Trish. Thank you so much for that compliment. And Monet, what's going on with you? Gregory X, how are you? Roz, Miss Sweet Talks, what's going on? Mrs. Tiffany, Michael, glad to see you here. And Panther Strike, you say, no, thank you. Donovan and Dimitri, I'm so grateful for having you, two wonderful, intelligent people, bring forth honest insight on many topics that may affect our people and Black community. Well, it is our pleasure. And thank you all, too, for enlightening us on a lot of things. And Jeb, how you doing? You are from Buenos Aires. You popping in. All right, all right. Hello, Easy E. How are you doing? I did get your email. So maybe we could talk about something on the show about that, some recipes. Y'all know I don't even really do recipes. I just be throwing stuff together. But maybe I'll share a juice recipe with you that I did the other day. It was really good. Macy, how you doing? Okay. So maybe you guys have seen this on social media. I don't know. I've seen it in the last couple of days. But basically, this comes out of Harvey, Illinois, which is also considered to be in Chicago. And I'm going to show y'all the video, and then I'll give it a little bit more of an explanation. Thank y'all so much. I just pinned it up to the side, and that's what I have today. All right, so here we go.
So we're at 144.45 and 144.37 Halsted. I don't see any sheriffs here at all. No sheriffs here. And they boarding these apartments up. There's still people in these apartments. There's people living here with their kids. Section 8 is paying their rent still. And they is putting these people out their house. Or boarding them up. Harvey is not the sheriffs. Harvey has no control over this. They're not the sheriffs. Y'all is here with no sheriffs. Y'all boarding people up in their cribs. I'm calling the news. I'm calling the lawyers. This is so wrong on so many levels. Y'all can't do this. Y'all's not the sheriffs. Y'all don't have the right. There's old people living here. There's people living here with their kids. That Section 8 is paying their rent still. And y'all is boarding people up in their cribs. They boarding people up in their houses. Oh, yeah, there's an old man boarded up in this apartment right here. There's someone still in this apartment. How he gonna get out? How is he gonna get out? They think Harvey Police is allowed to do this. They are not the sheriffs. They not the sheriffs. This is so wrong.
So, as y'all saw there, it was a woman, and she goes by Big Booty Bella 52 on TikTok. Okay, so I don't know if it was her video that started off, but it was definitely her video that I saw trending all over the course. Now the media, everything has been out there, but I should say that, okay, again, Harvey, Illinois is considered to be in Chicago, although it has its own municipality, if you will. They have their own city council and, mayor and all that other stuff. Sounds like it's about 30,000 people that live there. Okay, so in that particular apartment building that, like she said, is off of 14445 and then 37 Halsted Street. I was a little over 30 units there from what I understand. Well, I should go back until August. Sounds like the landlord there got warnings like, hey, you guys is, from the city council that this building is dilapidated, is not fit for people to live in there. And then October, the city council really said, hey, y'all need to do something. And so moving fast forward to a couple of days ago, looks like the landlord I guess they tried to get people to leave. They said they didn't get any notices or no knocks on the doors or nothing. They tried to get people to leave. And for the people who did not leave, sounds like they got boarded up in there. And as the lady said, there was elderly people there, people with children. There's a woman also, she's battling cancer. She's like, where am I going to go? A lot of those residents sounds like they are low income, maybe on some sort of a subsidy as far as HUD or something like that. And so as I saw that story, I was so livid. When I say I was so livid, because I'm not sure who exactly the landlord is. It doesn't sound like they've said, and maybe I just missed it. But how in the world do you go about boarding people alive? You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're boarding a casket. You're boarding up windows and doors to apartment buildings. How do you board people up in there and just keep it pushing, right? They said that they had to pry off the plywood off the doors and free people. And in a lot of cases, I guess they removed the doorknobs and stuff off the doors. So people really couldn't, do anything about it. But again, it was elderly people just shut up in there. So of course, the alderman, I think his name is Tyrone Rogers. He was like, "It's not right," and they didn't know anything about it, and they didn't tell him to do it, and all this other stuff. And so of course they're going to look into what's going on there. But my thing is, where does the landlord get in their minds that they could do that to people? Now, as you guys can see, it was predominantly Black people in that situation. What I want to know from the city council, and the mayor, his name is he's newly elected. His name is Christopher Clark. And any mayor is the president of the city. He has the keys, right? He can make all kind of calls. Is he going to call for the arrest of those landlords? That's criminal. That is criminal to lock people up in a building and just leave, right? So I have a lot of questions, but again, that happened to predominantly Black people. And it's sad. And it's sad because, like I said, Harvey is in Chicago to some degree, but we also hear about all the money that they're giving migrants, the housing that migrants are benefiting from. This weatherized tent, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, he allocated in November $160 million to help with the migrant situation. How much money did they allocate to residents like that on Halstead, that they're living in a dilapidated situation to where the landlord would come and just board up the building and just say, "Oh, forget it, we're just leaving Black people up in there"? How much money did they get? And you get all of these city council people and all these, people now coming, "Oh, it's not," bumping their gums. But it's like, did y'all go and say, "Hey, governor," or even the mayor of Chicago, can we get a couple of bucks, to at least put these Black people up in a hotel like we doing with the migrants? Or can we allocate some of that to get help this man get the building up to code, since he is getting federal money? HUD money is federal money, right? Did anybody do that? Or are they now just, saying something because they're busted? Because again, this wasn't a new issue. The city council, city planning, they all knew that this landlord was operating below board, and they warned him a copious amount of times. Then the landlord decides to lock Black people up. Like I'm telling y'all, I could chew nails. That's how mad I am about this for a whole host of reasons. I'm also mad about it because we as Black people, and I'm not blaming those people, but we continue to elect misleadership that lie. I know a lot of those aldermen and the mayor, all of them probably went into that specific area, put up a campaign sign, because we see it all over the hood all the time. I see it when I'm going to the 5th and the 3rd Ward. I still see campaign signs, whether they run it now or whether they ran months ago. I see them in the hood. So they go up into the hood or the neighborhoods that are dilapidated. "Hey, come on, show up the vote." But then when they go show up the vote and they get in the office, you never hear or see from those people again. But yet they got Black people boarded up where they got to be rescued. Just plain old awful. Donovan?
Ditto. No, real quick, that's a very serious situation. But here's the deal. Real quick, there's no doubt what we just saw was horrific. Now, everything is boarded up. I don't know if there's anybody behind the thing. I'm going to take the person's word. There is people locked up there. Number one, I think last week or earlier in the week in the show, or whenever it was, I keep saying that reality is what it is, what we see. We keep telling ourselves we're doing so well and all this other stuff as Black people. And I know people refute my numbers when I say 70% of Black people are not doing well. This goes back to my perception of reality, what we see. If we were doing so well, would this have happened? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But my point is this: it's horrific. And I will say this: the owners of that property, it's private property, so there's not much you can do. When you're at private property, if you guys know the law, when it's private property, you can pretty much do what you want and then deal with the consequences in the courts. As long as somebody didn't get hurt or whatever the deal is, it's not a crime in the aspect of criminal, okay? They're going to deal with it in the courts. But like Demetra said, city council meetings. In my neighborhood where I live, 8 blocks away, there's an area called Courage Street. Bunch of slumlords over there. When I got out of the military, one of the first things I did was I went to the city council and I said, blah, blah, blah. And I was giving them hell. Not after the fact, before the fact. I said, you got to clean this area up and start finding these property owners so they can keep their property up. You got code enforcement running around here that we're paying, and yet you're letting this area look the way it does. I stayed on their asses for 4 or 5 months, and we got it cleaned up. The city council person that I work with, which I really don't like, we worked together, and the city attorney, we started sending letters, and those owners started cleaning the area up, and it got cleaned. Right? No problem. But you got to stay on top of that because you've got a lot of slumlords out here. But my question is this. Before they should have given them notice if they did give them notice. But even if they didn't give them notice, it's private property. See, we get caught up into, oh, I've got all these rights and this, that. Do you know you could discriminate against a person outright in your home and there's nothing the government can do about it? Did you know that? I don't care if you're a Jew. You come to my house, you're not welcome here. Isn't that discrimination? It is, because it's private property. The government can't tell me what I can do. We got to understand that. If you go to Disneyland, that is a private property. When you go to the mall, that's private property. There are rules that are posted that you have to abide by. See, we go by what we watch so many damn movies in our community that we don't understand how the law works. And we just think because something is open to the public, that, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that. They don't have to do a goddamn thing. But here's my question. And to me, this is the most pressing, and Black America talks about it all the time. Dimitri, you talk about it all the time. We talk about community. There is no Black community, damn it. There is no Black community, because my number one question is this. If there's elderly people in that building that is being boarded up, where the hell is their family? Where is their family? If my father got boarded up like that, I should be in the know. Why aren't we checking on our elderly people? Why aren't we doing that? Where are the grandkids? Where are the aunts? Where are the whoever, the sisters, the brothers? This is why I say we are in dire straits, 70% of us. And it's only going to be a matter of time before the 30% of us that think we're doing really well is going to, before they round us up too. Because as Demetra said, look at all these resources they're giving to these migrants. Why aren't they giving, why is this a situation if they were giving us the resource and we can get our reparations? This wouldn't even be a situation now, would it? Now, would it? But again, we are reactive. We're not proactive. We should be demanding. Everybody across this country should be going to their city council meetings and holding those Black representatives responsible to get things done, or you remove them. You remove them in the voting process. That's what we should be doing. But my question is, where are the families? Where are the fathers? If your baby mama is living in a low-income place like that, why aren't you there to, number one, why would you even allow your child to be living in a condition like that? Number one, where are the men in the community? That's my question. Where are the families? And why aren't you guys going to city council meetings after the fact? And I really believe they do this because just as we always been doing for the last 60 years, we can do anything we want to do to Black people, and guess what? I could have had a V8. Ain't nothing gonna happen.
And hello to everybody that came on here. Juggernaut says COVID and this Babylon system distance all of us. And let's see here, Miss Sweet Talk, you say, I saw another comment. The private property still pays the city, therefore, the city, county can regulate against bad business practices, private or public. All right. And let's see here. Gerald, how you doing? Says, also demand that these folks pay their rent and don't trash out the places they live. Miss Sweet Talk says, true, Donovan, vote them out. And Sheree, how you doing? Says the men in jail or dead. Average Logical Thinker says there will be more outrage online than in person. That guy from Texas, how you doing? Says Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. discussed that years ago. There's no community. That's why it's called the hood. Let's see here. Okay. And Miss B Glam, how you doing? Cutthroat Naj, how you doing? Says where the immigrants in the building hopes. Oh, Lord have mercy. And Corey, how you doing? Say so sad. Okay, so I saw a lot of comments. I'm trying to really think how to approach this. Because, yeah.
It's really outrageous, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, people, I don't know if this is an issue. People trashing people's buildings, although that does happen. People do that, tenants or whatever the case is. They trash people's buildings. But, you know, well, I think when we say stuff like that, we absolve the landlord of their job. They're getting money to rent to people. And I don't care if you're paying $5. You paying the landlord something. Because a lot of people who are on subsidized housing, they pay a fraction of the cost. They still paying something. So if the landlord, they're paying something and the government is paying something, the landlord is getting all their money. So there's no excuse to run a hellhole, if you will. You know what I mean? And as far as the people's, family and all that other stuff, yeah, where are those people? But, my dad is elderly. He lives in an apartment building, all that other stuff. We check up on my dad. But even if I never checked up on my dad, I would never expect for him to have to endure that. I would never in my wildest dreams think and expect that somebody gonna lock my daddy up and board him up somewhere. I would never expect that. So I get all the criticism of Black people. Yes, I do. I get it. There's a lot of stuff we can be doing. We see almost We see almost $2 trillion in our community. Now we don't keep most of it. We give 97% of that away. Yes, I get all of that. But at some time, we got to just sometimes lay the blame where the blame is due. If I rent you an apartment building, you should expect that I keep the apartment building up. You should expect that you're going to be able to turn your key and go into an apartment or a house or whatever you're renting from me, not see no rats, unless you bring them there, or roaches. I have working water, have, everything working the way it's supposed to. There are codes that apartment managers and owners, whatever, they got to keep up to that code regardless. So we cannot, we can, but let's put the blame where the blame is due. Also, to say that there's some people, who make this and that, and I'm just saying that to myself, make this amount of money. Everybody ain't going to be balling out the gym. Everybody ain't going to be homeowners. It's going to be like, from what I understand here in Houston, there's just as many apartments than there are houses. So people are going to live in apartments or whatever. Everybody's not going to be a homeowner. Somebody is going to rent. But the city council knew that apartment building was operating below board. And it's not the only one that does. There's a lot of them that do that, and they know that. And they don't hold those people accountable. I would venture to say that the landlords are probably giving them some sort of a kickback. Maybe they homies, they get all these favors or whatever the case is. And would we have heard about this unless it went viral all over the internet, that Black people were boarded up in that apartment building? Would we have heard about that? We probably would not have. And my other question is, how often has that happened to other people? I don't know. I don't think that they woke up one day and said, let's just board people up. And then somebody said, were they giving notices? They said, no, they were not given notices. And also in America, now I know that a lot of these laws don't really apply to us, but there's a thing called due process. Even if you gave me a note, you got to take me to court and you got to properly evict me. You cannot take somewhere or talk about you got to get out. No, you got to take me to court. There's certain things you got to do. And as far as it being private, public, you cannot lock people up. I don't care if it's public or it's private. That is against the law. That is a crime. And Gerald, you asked me, am I a landlord? I am not a landlord, but do I got to be a landlord to utilize common sense and that you don't lock people up in apartments, a fire hazard, anything? Those older people could have been trying to run around. They could have fell, hurt themselves. Anything could have happened. So I don't need to be, if I was Jimmy the goddamn Cricket, I know that it's common sense not to lock Black people up or anybody up in an apartment building. So y'all got these questions trying to quantify and qualify whether I'm this, that, and the other. Do I need to be all that to know you don't do that to people? Those are humans. But see, the other problem is not only with white supremacy, but with some Black people. We don't see our own people as human. We make all the excuses in the world for society to do certain things to us. When I saw this story, I thought, okay, we need to get our stuff together. I thought that, but I never once thought to blame those people, because I don't care what it is you're doing. And I always say this, God, for the grace of God, there goes, I hope I never get into the situation that I see some of our people in. But God forbid I was ever in that situation. The last thing I would expect is somebody to lock me the hell up in my apartment because now I got to get out. And the other thing is, where those people gonna go? Where they gonna go? And then we talking about putting the blame at black people feet. Yeah, some of that is on us, but we ain't gonna have that conversation until we start talking about those politicians, especially there in Illinois. As I said, the governor has allocated $160 million to help migrants who want to seek their asses over here to the United States with nothing. And now the United States taxpayer is paying to take care of them. And we talk about what black people are not doing. The very least they should be doing is being locked up in an apartment that they paying some rent for. It's outrageous.
I agree with you. I tried to interrupt you because I wanted to ask you, the people that were doing the boarding up, did I see that wrong? Or did I see black men boarding up people in that aspect?
I don't know if it was black men or they were just kind of walking around trying to figure it out, because there was a lot of the black men that you saw. I think they were the ones that were actually plying off the plywood.
Okay, maybe that's what I saw, because again, but only in black communities and neighborhoods can other groups come into our neighborhoods and do these type of things. Like I said, I'm not saying what the owner did was not criminal. It absolutely was criminal. But you've got some people that don't give a damn about the law. What they're going to pay a fine? They don't care. And this is what I'm saying. This bullshit that we have in our community, where we've got men that don't want to take care of their responsibilities, and we've got women that think they don't need no man. Unfortunately, in the black community, 60 to 70% of black households are led by females. These females are out here. These black women are out here unprotected. If this thing is happening, and let's be real, and let's say you're a woman and you're at home and the landlord comes in there illegally, we know that. There's a due process, whatever. The landlord's probably saying, oh, I don't give a damn. I'll just go ahead and pay the fine. And a lot of them do that. And you're a woman. How are you going to deal with that situation other than having to leave? You know what I mean? I mean, this is what I'm saying. We have got to realize at this junction of the game, we need each other. We are not going to survive this democratic regime and attack individually. It's not going to happen. As strong as I may be, I cannot do this by myself. I can't. And we've got to start realizing that, because again, Demetra knows in my city, I have fought Emperor Edo Benvizi for over 12 years. This is a man that has money from the Trump brothers in Florida, no relation. And he's a front man, and he put warehouses all over my city. And let me tell you how he did it. Power of the dollar. He bought his politicians. He did that. But here's the thing. People go, well, Donovan, how do you beat a trillionaire? Even though they're trying to talk about voting rights. Have you guys noticed that about voting rights when they talk about voting rights? Every black person in America that's born here can vote. And everybody has some form of ID. So voting rights isn't for black people. It's for these new migrants. You're going against your own demise. That's what I'm saying. We don't think. But the point is, it is still in this country, even though they're trying to get rid of it, one person, one vote. You could beat a trillionaire with one person, one vote. And until they can do something about that, that is your way to fight back. But the point is, at this point, we have to realize we are already at the bottom. That's it. It's a direct attack, and we need to come together as a people, or we're not going to survive. Let's get to these comments, because people are going in on the comments.
Thunder, you say, do you think that a man would allow someone to let alone anyone board him and his family in his apartment and act accordingly? Well, there were some men locked in there. There were elderly men locked in there. In fact, the lady said at the beginning, she said there's a 70-year-old man still boarded up in that apartment. So there were some men that were boarded up in there, whether they were elderly or whatever the case is. And so as far as act accordingly, I mean, I don't know. Did the people have a chance? Some people said they didn't even hear a knock on the door or nothing, and then I guess they heard the boarding going on, as far as using the plywood to board them up. So there were men locked in there as well. Black America, you say. So do all humans deserve to live? I mean, who are we to judge? Who's to make that decision as to who is fit to live? What humans are fit to live. Now, I would argue, yeah, maybe there's some who are very heinous and done some, wild stuff. Yeah, maybe they're not fit to live. But if we're just talking about, people being boarded up in an apartment, who are you to decide who's fit to live or not? Maybe somebody looking at you and figure like, well, you fit to live. I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you talk. I don't like anything about you. So you fit to live. So I think that we tread on dangerous territories when we start having those conversations on who's fit to live, simply because maybe they don't fit the mold economically of what somebody should be doing in society. As it's very, to me, a dangerous ideology, even a question to ask. Let's see here. Corey says single parenting and voting Democrats is not the common denominator to this issue, in my opinion. No, there's a lot of things going on there. At the end of it is poverty. At the end of the day, it's poverty. I think we also need to have the conversation that Black people have not fully recovered from the institution of slavery. Now, there has been things like, Black Wall Street and things like that. Of course, we know what happened to it, but we've not fully recovered. We know without reparations, it's going to take over 232 years for us to catch up to the wealth of white people. So poverty is really at the end of it. But then we got to go and start asking the question as to why are Black people the most impoverished people in America? So I agree with you. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going on. And Thunder, you say I'm speaking of healthy men. No, I don't think no healthy man, I hope not, would allow somebody to do that to him. But the men were elderly. I don't know if they were unhealthy. They just were elderly. So I don't know if that had something to do with it. Michael says, I'm leaning toward between Donald Trump and the third party candidate because Democrats don't care about Black people and non-Black people. It's better to do a protest vote. Yeah, a lot of people have come to that conclusion. Monica, how you doing? And say hi, Dimitri and Donovan. 2024 is the year of all communities will be revealing their true global hatred of Black people. But it's also the year that our Creator is taking notes and handing out punishment. You know what? I agree with you. We're starting to see some things, and what is it? January 7th, 7 days into the new year, we are seeing some things that really make you raise an eyebrow, right? Barricade, how you doing? It says, what in the hell did Black America... right. Sheree, you says, we need to listen. Yes, it's just being uneducated. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. An 8-ball side pocket. How you doing? It says, we all know who we are, who are the most landlords, and them folks are really starting to get besides themselves. Starting to. Easy. You say, Donovan, these folks up there turning up the volume of their disdain, the hatred for Black people and the other races are on board as well. These folks are coming for us for all angles. Let's see here. Who else came on here? And we the people, what's going on with you? I mean, people turning up the hatred for Black people. I don't think they're turning up the hatred of Black people. I just think that it's becoming more obvious. I think that people are coming more out of the woodworks, but I think there's always been a hatred for Black people because there's never been a love for Black people. And I would also venture to say, we don't really even love ourselves like that. You know what I mean? For a whole host of reasons. But as I said, when I see stuff like that, it angers me because with that, it illustrates that there is a hatred of Black people, even to the tune of, even Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we as Black people so busy trying to fight for civil rights, but we're not even considered human. You got to have human rights before you have civil rights. And so for people to do that to Black people, they don't see them as human. And then you got the leadership of the Black people. They want to give a lot of lip service, but I guarantee you, if that was a bunch of migrants that been locked up like that, or Asians or anybody else, all hell would have broken loose. There'd have been hell to pay. But my question is, when is the landlord, when is he going to jail? He or she, when are they going to go to jail? They should be locked up immediately. I couldn't just go to somebody and nail them shut in somewhere and go home and eat, dinner. I would have to pay for that. So is anybody talking about arresting these people? I don't know. Like I said, I have a lot of questions.
I have a question for you. There was a good point, and Dimitri, you talk about a due process. You got to have a sheriff. It can't be a police officer. A police officer cannot serve an eviction. It has to be a county sheriff. Number one. So without a sheriff being present, none of that should have been going on. None of it. So what's going to happen is the victims in the end of this, the victims of all this stuff that's going to happen, they're going to get a nice settlement out of this because their civil rights were violated and all this other stuff. The sheriff was not there, so this was totally unruly. And the reason why the sheriffs weren't there, because they knew what they were doing was totally wrong.
Yeah, you got to have the right paperwork. You got to go to court. And then the court is the one to tell, the sheriffs what to do next. They got, the eviction notices and stuff like that. So, people arbitrarily just taking it upon themselves to go board people. Even if Jesus and the sheriff department came, ain't nobody telling you to lock board people up in their houses. There's no law to say that you can do that. At best, if that was the case and it was a sheriff, they would have removed those people from that property. And told them you got a certain amount of time to get your stuff or whatever the case is. And so again, when are those people going to jail for doing that? In Black America, he said, aren't most migrants conservative? So wouldn't that be a good thing that they are coming over? Why is it a good thing that they are coming over and they're getting the resources that American people are not getting? Why is that a good thing? What is good about that, Black America? Juggernaut says the problem is some of these leaders we call for help have a dubious background and or no intent to serve the people, get in their pockets greased up by dirty landlords to have them look the other way. That's exactly what goes on. They get those little white envelopes and they act like they don't hear or see nothing. Miss B says, I love this channel. He says, how long y'all been on here? 2018.
About 6 years. So we've been doing this for about 6 years. 6 years.
And I've been I was on YouTube. I'm not YouTube. Facebook for a couple of years before that. So yeah, we've been doing this for a while. I see here, Joseph, how you doing? And we love you being here as well. So let's see here. Joseph, he says people need to own their own home, so this can't happen. Yeah, I get it, but everybody ain't gonna be no homeowner. Everybody is not going to be able to buy a home or whatever. So there's going to be renters. I mean, even if you own a real estate property, you're going to need somebody to be in there and rent it, right? So.
And then if you saw the last week, there was a big article, I think it was in USA Today, where banks are now building rental home communities. So you can't even buy a house now. You're going to be renting, a forever renter. That's what's happening for the millennials and the Y generation folks. They're not going to be able to buy. It's going to be rental.
Yes, indeed. Miss Lachey, how you doing? It says America's about to be off the chain. About to be. Miss We Talk, she says, speak on it. Demetrius says human rights before civil rights. They don't care about us literally. No, we need to understand.
Michael Jackson told us that.
Yeah, we run around, please, why don't you see us, care about us? It's like, first of all, let's care about ourselves, because when you care about yourself, as Brother Jonell says all the time, you protect what you love. You care about yourself first. Look, if I care about myself, I respect myself, then, I'm going to demand it from everybody else. And if I can't get love and respect from other people, then I'm just going to shake the spot. I'm going to stop hanging around you. It's just that simple. So
no, Dimitri, you're totally wrong. I'm going to tell you why. Because we're going to overcome them with our capacity to love. Our capacity to love is what's going to do. So this white man and whoever this person is going to run around and beat you in the head. And you're just going to pray for them and love them. Because that's what the civil rights movement was about. And this is what they keep telling us. And they're teaching their children, and they're teaching their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren. Oh, our capacity to love. The Lord's going to swoop in and just change all this, which we see was total madness, because you disarmed a whole several generations of people from defending themselves. If this was going on in France, when the French people don't like something, they lock down the interstates. It's a done deal. So, so what I'm saying is, for all you Christians out there, and I'm a Christian myself, this capacity to love, it's bull caca. This Christianity is put out there to disarm you. It's bull caca. It is your innate nature to defend yourself, to defend your family. Self-preservation is always number one, always. Never forget that. So don't let these older people talk about you, our capacity to love. Even Malcolm X spoke about that. Go look it up. He spoke about the capacity to love. That's ridiculous. A man's got a bat, he's banging you against the head, and you're not supposed to do nothing. Ridiculous.
Hello, David. How you doing? I'm going to go back to this comment here. You say, I would love to hear the landlord's position on this. The process more than likely have been going on for years. Regardless of what his position is, you tell me one place in America where it says that you as a landlord have the right to lock people up, board them up in a building. Tell me, point it out to me. Gerald, point it out to me. And if you cannot point it out to me, I'm going to stop reading your comments, because I get what you're doing. I'm assuming you're a landlord, but you have not made a case as to why those people should have been boarded up in there. So point to me anywhere, any city, township, any state in the nation where it says that a landlord could take it upon themselves and imprison people because they won't get out. Put it in the comment section. I'm gonna wait for that. Let's see here. Ms. Sweet Talker says a writ from a judge, a landlord pays for the sheriff to remove the residents from the property. That's exactly right. They don't say what a landlord can go take it upon themselves to go, lock people up. Because they won't get out. And those people said they didn't know they were supposed to be getting out, and they never didn't get no notice that people was coming to lock them up in there. So, Gerald, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for your explanation. Let me finish, Donovan. I'm waiting for your explanation as to why that's okay to do. Fill me in, because maybe it's something I don't know. And let's see here. Let me get this.
Good.
Miss B say, I'm subscribed to Philip's channel, and I've been following you for 2 months. I've seen you on there, and I'm glad I subscribed to your channel. Also, what's your channel, Donovan? And I put his in the comment section, Donovan Saadiq. So his in the comment section as well.
Right. Well, what I want to say is this, and like I said, I used to be a renter, being in the military. People just tore up my house over and over again. I just said, forget it. I'm not doing it. It just wasn't worth it. The damage that was done, it was not worth it for me. But in Atlanta, in I believe August, remember that? I think we did a show on that, about that group of it was a apartment complex that was so terrible and so dilapidated that they put a writ up that evicted everybody. They had like 60 days to go, and in this apartment complex, it was mostly Black people, right? And I don't know if you remember that, Demetra, mostly Black people. And the sad thing is, it was mostly a lot of single mothers that had nowhere to go. Because unfortunately, housing is hard to come by, because now the rents have gone up and stuff like that. So your voucher might not cover where you can live. So these people were sitting there literally with no place to go. And what I believe what happened in the end was they condemned the property, but the people still continued to live there until they were escorted out, by due process and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, they had no place to go. So what I'm saying, in this, and I agree with Demetra, which doesn't happen often, you got to have due process no matter what the situation is. I mean, yeah, we understand you have no place to go, but through the courts, you got to leave and find something. They give you 60 to 90 days. In California, you get 6 months to find a spot. You ain't got to pay rent. You ain't got to pay nothing. Come on.
Yeah, Thunder, he says, do you remember when the Honorable Minister said there are 3 things that they will never teach Black folks? The science of business, marriage, the science of war. You're absolutely right. He's absolutely right, but they teach it. You read the material, Message to the Black Man in America, Fall of America, and all the copious amount of other books that have been put out by the nation, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad. The information is there. See, the problem with us is if it don't come from somebody white or a pastor sitting up in the church somewhere, somebody who just got a big mouth, then we ain't going to inculcate the information. It's got, it's got to come from a trusted source, if you will. But you're absolutely right. But as I always say, I'm a big proponent of never sending your children to the white public school system and waiting for them to teach you anything. We need to teach that to our own people. And Gerald, again, I'm waiting for you to put it in this comment section where that is possible, because you sat up here right now and said, I've never condoned any landlord locking anyone in. Landlords want deadbeats out. See, the economy that you put right there is like you didn't advocate for it, but then you talk about they want deadbeats out. You don't know nothing about those people. How you know they deadbeats? It has clearly been said that the city council has admonished those landlords for being a slumlord in the building being not up to code. So somehow you got it in your mind, and I don't know who or what you are, but you got it in your mind that it's those people's fault. And you asking it, I saw earlier, how did we know that they was locked in? You saw everybody lying? People that was there lying, and knew everybody lying, huh? So because you was bumping your thumbs in the comment section and you can't find me a code nowhere in the world that says that landlords can do that to people. Now you trying to do some red herrings? Nah, put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section where that's okay, because you are condoning it, because every comment you had in this comment section was talking about defending landlords. How we know, and this, that, and the other, and tearing up people's apartment, all this other stuff. But you, so I already asked you what to do. Other than that, I'm gonna be done talking to you.
Yeah, and I get it. The landlords took it on the chin during the pandemic. We get all that. We understand it, and we sympathize. A lot of people did not do the right thing, did not pay their rent, and all that other stuff. We get that, but that still does not circumvent due process. We have laws in this country. You gotta have due process. The landlords, I mean, they raised the moratorium, so now the landlords can do what they got to do. They have to go by the process. So who would disagree that if a person gets kicked out by due process, that everything was above board? Nobody would disagree with that. It's like, hey, you're above board. Here in California, you get 6 months. You're going to go to the court case. In most cases, when the people ain't paying and they ain't doing the right thing, they ain't going to pay their rent. They're not going to show up to court. And we know that. And the court system just does what they got to do. Then they get the writ. Then the sheriffs are there and putting their stuff out right there on the corner. And everybody knows that when the people stuff is being put out in the front yard, they didn't show up for court, and the process that they went through is complete. Everybody knows that.
Shawnee says, another way they discriminate now to rent an apartment, you got to make over 7 times, right? That's a lot of money. Other reason why you got to take it to court, and I don't need to be a landlord to know this, Gerald, is you got to make sure it's a good eviction. Now, of course, it's your property. You can have people out. But, why are people getting evicted? Let's see what's going on. People do have a right to state their case, which is why a lot of times it takes so long and it's due process and this, that, and the other. People need places to live. So you as a landlord, and you know that going into the rental business, there's laws and, codes and all kind of renters' rights and stuff that you have to adhere to. You know that. And if you don't, a lot of times you end up getting sued, fined, and a whole host of things. There's been places where apartment, and matter of fact, I'll tell y'all a story. I was discriminated against when I was in my young 20s. My daughter's father and I would live in an apartment building, and unbeknownst to us, they put all the Black people in the back of the apartment building. We didn't even know it was a thing. So when you go to the front of the building, it was very nice and everything, but the back part where we live wasn't so nice. And so I guess some of the employees in a leasing office got disgruntled, they got fired or whatever, and so they blew the whistle. And when I tell you, it was a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that we all were, a part of, and won quite a bit of money from that. And that particular apartment building landlord, they had to give up their rights to rent to people. That was part of it. So we've heard about things like that in the past. So there's things that they got to do to be in right standing as far as being a landlord. But as I said, in a lot of the cases, the city council, they know those people ain't acting right, but they just don't care. Because with that, there is a lot of apathy in our community. Well, if I said something about it, they don't care. They're not going to do anything. So a lot of times people just feel defeated, and then the other time is a thing too is as people who rent, you might be afraid to say something to the landlord. If I tell them there's a big gaping hole in my ceiling, they will come fix it and they might raise the rent. If I tell them my air conditioner ain't working or my heat ain't working, they might fix it, but they're going to raise the rent. So a lot of times people suffer in silence and they pay it because I don't want to make the landlord mad. I don't want to, have to raise my rent, because a lot of people can't afford these rent increases. There's a lot of places in the nation that they don't have, caps. I can't think of the word right now. Rent control laws. They don't have rent control laws in a lot of areas. And so, people's rent go up when the wind blows. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration with that. And Gerald, if you are a landlord, I honestly feel sorry for your tenants, because I bet you they got a lot of stories about you. Let's see. We're going to switch gears in just a minute because I got a couple of other things I want to talk about.
But before we switch gears, Demetra, what do you think is the solution? I mean, we brought light to the problem. What is the solution? Like I said, I've already given a solution. There's no excuse why you don't know what's going on in your city. You have a planning commission, you have a city council, you have an alderman, you have all these people that are there to serve you. They are not leaders. We are the leaders. We are the government. Until we get that situated in our heads, what is the solution? In your mind, in your opinion, to this situation?
Well, we talk about all the time. Solution is, for one, as they say in the nation, accept your own and be yourself, and do for self. We need to learn how to do for self like our people used to do. We need to do that. Also, we need reparations. Those go hand in hand, because also in the nation, they asking for reparations, land, and a whole host of other things. So we need those things. We also need to get right here in our minds as Black people, as a collective, and believe that we are worthy of having great things, because we have been told and sold for so long that we are not worthy. We aren't human. We are less deserving of having nice things. As I said, a lot of people don't know it's against the law for somebody to rent an apartment to you with rats and roaches in it. That's not normal. But a lot of people will live in an apartment and live with rats and roaches. No, they supposed to get rid of that. Now I get it. Which is why I don't live in an apartment, because I know you can't help everybody in what they do, whatever, cleanliness or whatever but that stuff is against the law. So we also got to arm ourselves with knowledge. You got to know your rights, whether you're renting something or whatever it is. You got to know your rights, so that way you can effectively be able to speak up for yourself. Also know that people are in positions of power, especially if you elect them to be there. They work for you. You don't work for them. They run around our neighborhoods like a peacock, like I'm the stuff. Listen, y'all need to know. You work for us. And you should come through our neighborhood or wherever it is and say, how can I be of service, and mean it? Not walk around with this false sense of entitlement because you got a little funky title in front of or back of your name or whatever. So all of those things have to work in tandem. And we need to silence the ignorant folks in our community that come up with a whole lot of blaming this and that and want to put the onus on people who really are not as powerful. Black people are powerful, but in certain cases, we need people to do their jobs. So the ignorant people in our community that's selling nothingness and blame and all that, we need to tell them to shut up. We done talking to y'all. We done listening to y'all. That's what we need to do. Above Beyond Forever, how you doing? And Fire Bad Water, good. How you doing? Let's see here. Let me move on down. Alan, he says, how you doing? He says the housing price crisis is real. As a recent evictee, I can confirm that a lot of these landlords are evil and intentional, implement bias and discrimination. Yeah, we know it's a thing, but people want to sit up here and act like it's all the tenant. All these landlords run around with halos and stuff. I mean, there's horror stories of landlords, especially in our communities. That's why I said we got a little bit of apathy going that we need to get rid of and say, no, I'm paying you rent. I need to be able to come in here to a place that's livable. And then A-Ball, he says, a landlord can't even evict a squatter without due process. Right. It sucks, but they cannot. All right, so let me move down here so we can get on with the other ones. And Jay, how you doing? He says, especially if you're on Social Security, it's like getting minimum wage when I used to make more in a month than what people get on Social Security. Okay.
And let me add this. And it's unfortunate, but you want to hide something from a person, you put it in a book or you put it in a rental agreement. The rental agreement tells you everything what the landlord is supposed to do. So if you end up going to court in the end, you have that rental agreement to go by. And I've been to a lot of courts where people didn't even bring their rental agreement. And it's right there, black and white, what they're supposed to do, whatever. I mean, that rental agreement obligates the owner to do what they're supposed to do. But if you're going to give the guy a pass and, I'll let him 3 months, but then you got roaches and stuff, you got to jump on those roaches immediately. You got rats, you got to jump on that immediately. You can't just, I'll get it next month. No, you tell them to get it today. And then a lot of you that don't know this, what you can do is you can do the thing yourself and then bill the landlord. depending on, what city you're in and what the laws are over there. But you can do that and say, here's the receipt. I took care of it myself. Take it off the rent or give me my money back. So there's all kinds, we got to stop with the excuses like we're helpless. We're not helpless to make all these damn kids and all this other stuff. We are grown adults. You sign an agreement that you get into, and you're living up to your agreement, and you're not going to hold the owner to his agreement, his part of the agreement. Come on now.
And Gerald, I'm gonna leave off on this comment on this subject. It says, careful with your bogus allegations. I have a standard I live by with my tenants. That is, I will not rent it if I will not live in it. Been doing it for almost 20 years and I haven't had one complaint. Well, your attitude in this comment section says otherwise. I don't believe you. I could be wrong, but I don't believe you. I believe that you, in my opinion, that you are probably very hard to deal with, because you came in here with both barrels blazing, blaming, the tenant. So, of course, you're a landlord. Of course, you're going to be heavily more on the landlord side about people doing stuff to the apartment, which I know people do those type of things, but I don't believe you. I believe people will have a horror story about you, whether it's about your apartments. I take your word that your apartments are up to code, and I'm going to say that's probably per your standard. But I guarantee there's somebody out there be like, Gerald D be tripping. I wouldn't doubt it. But, hopefully that's not the case, because I could be wrong. All right. Common Man, how you doing? Okay. I'm not going to go find one person. I don't care about it like that. But like I said, you got a nasty attitude. So that would not surprise me about you. Okay, so let's move along. Okay, of course, y'all know, and I don't have any videos to show y'all because y'all have seen them all over the internet by now about Cat Williams, who is a comedian. He's actually one of my favorite comedians. He sat down with that of Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay, which is Shannon Sharpe's YouTube show. Very successful. He started not too long ago, and he's got 2 million views. I got almost, I would say 400. 2 million subscribers rather. He got over 400,000 within the last couple of days due to the Cat Williams interview. Of course, by now it's got about 27 million, maybe more views at this point, where everybody and their mama have watched it. Now it's almost 3 hours long. And a copious amount of clips have been shared all over the internet. But Cat Williams disclosed a lot of things about some people in Hollywood, whether it was Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer. It's really kind of mostly comedians, in his genre of entertainment. A whole host of people. He made a lot of, I'd say statements. Some people say they're not true, but they really haven't proven them not to be true in regards to Steve stealing material, Cedric stealing material, Ricky Smiley, which Ricky Smiley was crying on one of his social medias. I know that it's the anniversary that his son died. I don't know what happened to him. I think it was maybe a drug overdose or something like that, but he died. And so he said he's dealing with that, but he was crying on live, I guess it was. But I'd say that Cat Williams tore all of them a new one. When I say he tore them all a new one, it was like, yikes. And so from that point, a lot of what people say receipts have been coming out, proving the things that he said. Even the fact that he said he runs a 420, a 40 and 420, which is like 40 yards in 4.2 seconds. And he did it last night. It said at 2 o'clock in the morning. He recorded himself doing it like 440 is what it was, but close enough, right? So, he's been, a lot of people have just been proving a lot of things that he said is true. And so I'm going to ask y'all, what was, he said, Ricky is always crying. I actually got picked up on, was it Neighborhood Talk? They picked up my comment in Ricky Smiley's post where he was making fun of Jada because I guess her hair looks like she's bald and they're trying to compare her to that of Fat Joe. And so he put that up there. I said, wow, you got all the smoke for Jada and none for Cat. Because when he was talking about the Cat Williams situation, he was like, oh, well, because what it was Cat said, well, Ricky went on Shannon Sharpe's show first and said that, he was offered the role of Money Mike from, Friday After Next or whatever it is. And then Cat went on there, was like, basically, Shannon, why you let these people come on here and lie? So he picked apart everything they said. And that was one of them that Ricky Smiley said that he was offered the part of Money Mike. And Cat says, no, he wasn't. He was not offered. And Ice Cube even got in the fray and said, well, we gave him a shot, but it was never like going to him. It was always going to be considered for Cat Williams. And so, there's been a lot of fallout about it and this, that, and the other. So what I want to know from y'all is, what was y'all favorite moment, takeaway, or, your comments about that particular revelation of Cat Williams, when he said, I've been laughing about this all week, when he said about Steve Harvey. He says, there's 30,000 scripts written in Hollywood every year. He says, and not one of them call for a country bumpkin that can't talk, that looks like Mr. Potato Head. I tell you, I'll be busted up. It's like, wow, that dude, man, he held nothing back. So I would say, if anybody has any doubt about Cat Williams' power as far as a star, getting somebody almost 30 million views in a couple of days, and it's one of the most talked about things in the recent couple of days. And they said that every tour that he has, he sells out, and he's on a 100-city tour as we speak. So there's a lot going on with that. Donovan, who wants to come up here briefly and talk about what they saw or liked from that particular interview?
Well, I'm going to say this about the interview. I enjoyed it very much because, Demetria, when you're the one who sent me the link about it real quick, and I'm sitting here like, what the hell's going on? And I'm going to say this, and it's always important. And this is the thing that I had to do when I was fighting my demons with the city council and here in the city, what they were doing into my neighborhood. The best way to protect yourself is to be as public as possible. Because if something happens to you, guess who are the likely suspects that the cops can start with? Of course, you might be, deleted or something in the interim. But the point is, it's very hard to come at you when you're very public about, what you're doing and what you're saying. So I would think that was smart of him to do that, because a lot of us, we've heard about the Hollywood things and what goes on. Ask yourself, oh, Oprah's such a great woman and all this other stuff, and she's a billionaire, doesn't do anything, and lowballs her fellow sister and all this other stuff. You've got Tyler Perry, doesn't believe in unions, even though, to do his productions and stuff, doesn't bring in writers and stuff. When you got a lot of talented writers and production people that are Black, you can employ Black people to do those things, but they want to keep people at a low ebb. So we know these things go on within Hollywood, and for him to come out and confirm it, like I said, all we can do is speculate. But for somebody within Hollywood to say, yes, he goes, what? And the funniest thing that Cat said that I really like, he said that his whole thing was, when it's all said and done, he wants to leave Hollywood with his anus intact, or something like that. He just said, I want to leave with my anus intact and I'm good. And isn't that a sad thing that in Hollywood there is a cabal of people that you got to do some stuff that is strange for that change if you want those roles and stuff. But we heard that from way back in the 50s and 60s. Dorothy Dandridge, Philip, what's her name? Pearl Bailey. They were saying that way back then, just to get roles of maids. So, big ups to Cat Williams. I really wasn't a Cat Williams fan, but he's kind of won me over with his truth, because he had all the receipts. It isn't like he didn't have his receipts. And then I want you guys to notice this. Notice that the people that he talked about, and Demetria and I talked about this before we got on the show, isn't it funny how they all are coming out trying to defend themselves? Because if the man was lying, if there's nothing there, why even address it? Why even address it?
Yeah, I mean, for a long time too, I don't know if Cat was on drugs. He said that he's never done drugs. Of course, he talked about him leaving home at 13 because he had an issue with his father. So he just, learned a lot of things. Also said that he is also a certified genius, and that he could have gone to some school of science, this, that, and the other. Mensa has come into the conversation in regards to Cat. But you could tell he's very, very wise, very educated, whether he's educated himself. Of course, he made the claim that he read 3,000 books a year at one point in time. Now, a lot of people like, that's not impossible. I was having a conversation with my daughters. It's very possible to read 3,000 books. They don't have to be all war and peace or, anything like that.
They got picture books. I used to love to read those.
Yeah, they could be smaller books or whatever the case is, But the other thing is, a lot of times we like to limit people due to the limits that we place on ourselves. Just because you couldn't read 3,000, I'm saying you and saying in general, I couldn't read 3,000 books. That don't mean that somebody else couldn't. You know what I mean? So yeah, he did talk about a lot about what they like to do to men in Hollywood as far as donning dresses. And he said, of course, they tried to talk to him about wearing dresses a bunch of times. And he was like, no, not going to do that. Also, of course, in the movie Friday at the Next, he was in there. It was his debut movie where he was supposed to be, SA'd by that of Terry Crews's character. Damon, you are a boy, But he said that he absolutely was not going to do that. And he talked to them who wrote the script. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, I think, was still involved at that time, writing the script, that he didn't think that was appropriate. Of course, Ice Cube said that there was never going to be somebody that would be SA'd in there. And y'all know I love me some Ice Cube now, so watch your mouth. But a lot of people made the point of saying, well, if it wasn't going to be a SA scene up in there, why was there low-key one up in there? Because that was the whole thing with Terry Crews and Money Mike is, Terry Crews, Damon just got out of prison and he was always talking about doing that stuff. And he saw Cat's character, Money Mike, and he was just infatuated with him the whole time and get, in a bathroom together. And he's, talking about doing that to him. And of course, if y'all haven't seen it, I won't give it away. So there was definitely innuendos of that going on. And so I believe Cat in that there was going to be a scene of taking a man's, thing, if you will. And he stood up for himself like, no, we can do other things. Another thing too, that movie is a Christmas movie, a comedy that people from all walks of life watch. So I couldn't imagine that scene being in there and children watching that movie. So I don't know. Like I said, even Ice Cube has had to come out. Most of them come out and said, oh, that's not true. It is not true. And then he called their wives ugly. He said, you think about it, they all get what do you say, the weird, funny face wife. Oh my God. He said it was between him and Ludacris as being an Illuminati. And they said they chose Ludacris or Ludacris chose to go. Whew. There was a lot of stuff. And the average logical thing, you say you didn't laugh for the whole 2 hours. I didn't laugh for the whole 2 hours. I laughed at most of it. But a lot of it was a lot of wisdom that came out of that interview. I think Cat was dropping a lot of things, even outside of the entertainment. And I took from that, don't let people lie on you and ruin your reputation. And as Cat said, I didn't come for none of these people. These people came for me. They started with me. Even he talked about the one with Wanda Smith, and that was an infamous interview. I think it was 2019. Y'all saw it in Atlanta radio station where I don't want to say he dismantled her career, but she was no longer on the radio after that. Because he said during the Shannon Sharp interview, he didn't know that was her thing, that she would get comedians to come on there and embarrass them and do all of that stuff. So he said, if you ask me, it's karma. Because he said, I didn't even want to be on an interview. He was supporting the guy named Red, who was another comedian. So he said, I was in the green room and she wanted to have me come and talk about my Emmy that he won for Atlanta, which is one of the best episodes of the Atlanta series by Donald Glover, by the way. And they never did talk about that, but he said she started with me and she did. And when I tell you, he told her down to the point where her husband saw him later on that night at the club and stuck a gun in his face. And like Kat said too, had that been anybody else, they'd been up in arms, but because it was him, nobody was really upset about it. But nevertheless, Wanda did lose her job for what some would say was trying to bully Cat when he was really just there drinking his coffee and supporting his friend.
No, I think she lost her job because she sent her husband and her son after him with that gun incident.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, the husband, for whatever reason, got mad. But at some point in time, do you say, well, like you said, we're comedians. He says, why do I get to potentially lose my life over, doing my profession? We're all comedians. She started with me and I finished it. And you go, chase me with a gun, tell your wife to get better jokes or raise her game or whatever, but to try to do something to me, that's wild. Yeah. Oh man, I've seen that interview probably 10 times already. It's hilarious. Anyway, I'm gonna put this link in here if y'all want to come up and have a conversation really quick about that. I would love to hear you guys' opinion on it if you watched it. Then of course I want to go to the incident in Miami, and then I saw somebody else put up about the bodies in Mississippi. And I like to talk about that too, if we have time. So I'm going to put this link in the chat. Oops.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that, you got all these different comedians that are out here vying for positions and stuff, because I never was a Kevin Hart fan. I never thought he was really that funny to me. But you got these, I'm king of comedy. How the hell you the king of comedy, and part of your look is taken from Richard Pryor and all this other stuff? It's just, these people that don't make any sense, because I guess Steve Harvey becomes a relationship guru, which was ridiculous. And then the man talk about he doesn't want to. He gave up comedy to do what? To be a host and stuff like that. I mean, it's just. I mean, all of this vying for different things. But I did wonder, where did this Kevin Hart guy come from? Where did this Tiffany Haddish come from? Because it takes years to build your name and do those things. At least with Cat Williams, I agree. I mean, I have his concert movies on DVD somewhere in the house, but I don't see a Tiffany Haddish concert movie. Yeah, you see some Kevin Hart ones, but I just don't see these things. And these people are like propped up in front of us. And then next thing you know, they're making these movies and getting all this money. And then these are the people that the Democratic Party goes to and says, well, holes to the polls and all this other stuff. And we listen to them. It's just kind of ridiculous. Like I said, nothing against Tiffany Haddish, but Kat's right. Where's her joke? Where's her bottom line funny joke? What is she known for? The grapefruit scene in Girls Trip? It's crazy.
Hello, Hula Gang. How are you? I saw your comment, but I couldn't necessarily put it up. But how you doing? Let's see who else came on here. Michael, you better have clicked that link and be talking about this Cat Williams interview. I'm gonna put you up here. Give me one moment. Let's see here. I saw another comment. I guess not. Okay. Michael, what's on your mind?
Hi Donovan, Demetra. How you guys doing today?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good myself. Energetic and pumped up. Just gonna provide a quick comment and a question. So I was just reading an article today relating to burial costs for Black families and reparations. And I noticed
that way. What did I say?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I just thought today you'll be talking about reparations initially before.
Not at this moment, but come on up if you want to talk about something else. Well, I'm going to try to get to other comments,
Sure.
But I want to try to keep it with the Cat Williams thing. That way we don't deviate all over the place. I know that GP said he has a question. Let's see what is regarding. But yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Ask your question real quick. What was your question?
Okay. My question is this. Okay. If majority of Black baby boomers oppose, cash payment reparations, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you convince them that their grandkids and their children need reparations? Because obviously when Black baby boomers retire, the pension they receive is not enough to cover burial costs. With cash payment reparations, it's enough to cover burial costs alone. Because I did the math, I looked up the data.
Well, I would quickly say life insurance. Get you some life insurance, whether it's term or whatever. There's a lot of inexpensive life insurance policies that you can get for next to nothing. So I would say start right there. There's always a way to take care of burial other than GoFundMe or fish fries or whatever the case is. Like I said, I used to sell life insurance, and I've spoken to a whole bunch of people. Black people are actually the majority of my market, and I've heard it all. And there's never an excuse to not pay for a life insurance policy, because it's harder to pay on the back end when you ain't got it than it is to pay monthly a couple of bucks, when you don't need it. So that's what I would say. My long and short answer is get you some life insurance and get it today.
Right. And I'm just saying, like, politically speaking, like how would that conversation change if reparations were
It won't. You know why it won't? Reparations won't change people getting life insurance. For one, if you got reparations,
Mhm.
you can pay for your own burial. But politics, I think politics and burial, I don't think they run in the same vein, because it's a personal decision whether you want to protect against a death, whether it's your own or a loved one or whatever the case is. Nobody should ever have to mandate you do that, or even keep having conversations with you. Like I said, I talked to a whole lot of people who didn't want it or whatever the reason is. And some people, they're glad that they got it because they needed it and they didn't think that they would need it. So it's a personal decision. I would say at the very end of the day, stop being ignorant. Stop talking to people about, I don't need it, it's a bill, and all this other stuff. Just get you a damn life insurance and keep it pushing. And, get you a term policy for it. I don't know, depending on how old you are. See, the older you get, the more it's going to cost. The older you get, the more unhealthy you're going to become because you have health issues. Get it when you're young. You got a baby, 10 days old, you can insure the baby. So there's things that you can do, but no politician is in charge of you protecting your life or against death. So that's all I got right there for you, Mike. I'm going to bring up GP. And the link is open. I saw somebody else ask about the link. It is open. Trisha, I do not sell life insurance at all, but I'm very well-versed in it. But I always tell people, just get it. Get it. I don't care. Just get you some life insurance because it's hard to grieve and figure out how you're going to bury your loved one at the same time. It's hard. So, Michael, thank you for coming up. See you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm going to bring GP up here.
Yo,
how you
good?
doing?
Pretty good. What about you?
No complaints. So you went to the gym today? Are you going to the gym?
No, I'm going to the gym. I had just came from how should I word this? A casual hookup is where I came from. I'm gonna head to the gym in 15 minutes. But I'm gonna address with the topic about Cat Williams first, and then it's something else I wanted to address. So many people be doing this online stuff. These stand-up comedians remind me of people who just sit behind their computer and then talk trash on YouTube, and if you see them in real life, they won't have that same energy. Stand-up comedians are very similar to weak, excuse my language, pussy-ass YouTubers that won't do nothing.
That was strong, GP. That was strong.
They remind me of weak pussy
ASS
YouTubers.
Brother, listen, I got a better word for you, okay? Better word. Say 5-letter kitty cat, okay? That works.
All right. So they remind me of weak 5-letter kitty cat YouTubers that talk a lot of trash online and won't do nothing. So it ain't nothing for me to get mad about. I don't do unto others as I wouldn't want others to do unto me. But sometimes others do unto me as I wouldn't do unto other people. But this is the thing. If somebody is constantly berating me and verbally antagonizing me, trying to get a reaction out of me, I don't pay no attention. I let them talk to themselves till they calm down. So that way we can have a civil discussion rather than an argument. And most people get mad when you don't argue back and forth with them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. And if they get mad, don't have another conversation with them, because it does take two people to argue unless you're arguing with yourself, which sometimes I do that, like for real. Right. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm keeping honest with you. But yeah, you raise a good point. Now what else you got on the menu?
All right, so it's about last time I came on here. I know what you said last time. You said I have to get at least 20 more years on me to be boyfriend or husband material for you. But no offense to your average logical thinker. I did think she looked good, but she got a kid. I'm not raising another man's child for a relationship. But no offense to her. But if she needs help finding a man, I know many men who wouldn't mind getting room with children. But back to what you said, Demetri. You said I have to get at least 20 more years on me to be husband material or boyfriend material for you. I was thinking maybe you said 20 more years, I could be out here just doing my thing for the next 20 more years. And then in 20 more years, I'll be old too. And then we can maybe go on a date. And then if we have a relationship after 3 dates, if 3 days go well, and then after a year in a relationship, if it lasts that long, then probably your hand in marriage. 20 more years.
I don't even know where to start. Okay. I don't even know how your average logical thinker got into this.
You remember last time I said she looked pretty good in the comment section?
Okay, but you say you're 24?
Yeah, I'm 24.
What? You said your father and your mother, they're together. They're still in your life, right?
Yes, and then they have a tranquil dynamic in their relationship. It was impossible for me to get the tranquility they have. They knew my age. That's why I go for older.
Okay, but I guess the reason why I'm asking that is because your father is still in your life. Do you spend a copious amount of time with your father?
No, definitely not.
Why not?
Well, the thing is, I'm on my own now, and I really don't have time to be sitting up in my parents' house. So I got my own place too.
Well, reason why I'm asking is because, and this is coming from a very much older than you woman, okay? Now, I could tell that you don't spend a lot of time with your father. And this is, I'm telling you, I'm just giving you some advice. You should spend more time with your father or older gentlemen that can continue pouring wisdom and knowledge into you, because I know that you're out there and you're on the dating scene, you're trying to date older women or whatever the case is. But when you are speaking about women or anybody, there's a way to do that. Now, I love your average logical thinker, and I don't even know if y'all have had a conversation, but you came on here throwing darts at my sister. Talk
Well,
wait,
I was
wait, and
yes, ma'am.
I would imagine your average logical thinker is probably quite a bit older than you, maybe not as old as I am. So I don't even know if she would even entertain dating you. But the reason why I'm saying hanging out with older men is because they will teach you how to be proper with women. Because an older woman is not going to take kindly to you. I'm not going to be no stepfather to your child. Blah, blah, blah. I don't even know if the average logical thinker asked you to do all of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but this is the thing. It's been many older women of other races who have been reaching out to me trying to get at me, but I'm not a swirler. I'm trying my hardest not to swirl.
Okay, can I ask you? Let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you think that? And I don't know. I don't have any answers to this. Why are they reaching out to you?
Cause I constantly post videos on my YouTube channel talking about how like older women and some older women of other races catching wind of my videos, and I have my Instagram pop up on the screen every minute in each of my videos.
And what you be talking about that to these women to where they gonna be like, ow? What you be talking about?
Well, it depends on the top. It depends on like the video that I let play, because I do kind of like similar to Phil, let a video play and then come back, get my perspective on it.
Got you. But okay, you're still learning, and I like that you're out there and you're exploring and things like that. And it's not just for the men, it's for the women too. Get around older people who've been there, done that, and that can talk to you. And for whatever reason, I know you're grown and all that, you still need your daddy. You still need the guidance and the wisdom of your father. Obviously, he's doing something right because he's been with your mom for how long?
28 years.
So he's doing something right. I'm sure he's speaking to her in a manner that communicate very well. So I think it would behoove you to spend time with your father so that you can learn, how to better effectively speak to women. And listen, I know there's a lot of misinformation on the internet. And what you said, I'm not trying to be no stepdaddy to somebody. I know where you got that from. You got that from this manosphere. And I try not to talk about them, but I had a stepfather, okay? R.I.P. God rest his soul. I had a stepfather that took care of, in part, because my father was still around. 3 children, me and my other 2 siblings. In fact, my mom did not work. He took care of my mother. He took care of us. And without the guidance of my stepfather, me and my siblings would not be who and where we are today. He played a lot in that. I have a father and a mother who, helped shape us. But my stepfather, I would tell y'all right now, I learned about fashion from my stepfather. I learned how to also be, because he was an interior designer, so he knew about colors and things like that. In fact, it was him that would often take my sister and I shopping for school clothes, and things like that. And I learned how to be a better public speaker because my stepfather too was, an orator, my father as well, my mom too. But I'm saying that, a lot of stuff that you get on the internet, I'm not raising nobody else's kids, and blah, 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 blah. Keep living, young man. Keep living.
What is the thing? I didn't get that from the manosphere. I initially, I told you last time about how many people who come close to me vent to me about everything. Even people who have done that vented to me about the ins and outs of the situation. And then it just sounded like it worked, a horror story. Their life came crashing down afterwards. Everybody who vents to me about doing that. So I choose what. But go ahead.
Yeah, if that's something you personally do not want to do, then go with that. Now, there's no law in the world saying that you have to be with somebody or be a stepdad. There's no law doing that. And in fact, it would say if you don't want to do that, don't even pretend for one moment, because the last thing a woman needs, and I would say this even for men, is to have somebody that's hopping up and down on them like a trampoline or whatever, pretending to like their children and don't like their children. Now, I'm also yeah. So if that ain't your thing, don't even do it. Not even for the 5-letter kitty cat. Okay. But the other thing I'm gonna say is this too: even as people get older, people's children get older and stuff, and you have a lot of fools running around talking about, I don't have to be with the children. I'm just with the mama. I'm just with the daddy. Forget the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that naturally comes with being with their mama. That's
right.
why I think.
Right. Whether they're grown and they live in a house or they don't live in a house, you can, but I personally ain't trying to be with some sucker that's only trying to be with me. And, don't want her to do, I don't have any grandkids yet, but with my children or my grandchildren, because I'm a family-oriented person. So you deal with me, you're going to get to know my family. I'm not saying they're imposing or anything like that, but I'm saying don't get with a person that has children, whether they're minors or they're grown, if you don't like children, because it's unfair and the children can sense that you don't like them.
Well, I ain't saying I don't like children. I'm just being protective of my finances. I'm very protective of my finances. I had a 3-year period where I had zero, and then now that I got a substantial, constant income, I'm doing everything in my power to protect it.
Right, but I'm gonna say this to you too. With the exception of tonight, you always talk about these women treating you like one night stands. Is that?
Yes.
But can I tell you something from an older woman point of view?
Go ahead.
That a lot of women I know don't like no man that's being used as the community, thing, dang-a-lang. That ain't sexy. If you really listen, I'm telling you from a classy older woman, okay? I know there's some thoughts out there that's in their 50s and 60s, still being treated like a trampoline and they're proud of it. But the woman that you will ultimately end up with, even if you end up with an older woman, she not gonna want no man that's had his thing all over the world. She wants a man that is virtuous too. Because a woman like myself, I'm virtuous. I have not, I have not been treated like a trampoline all over the place, So if you want you a good woman, you got to be a good man. Now I know you're in your 20s now, and you're like what do you call them things that drill the cement? You one of those power
drill bit Taylor.
Yeah, you out there doing all of that. I don't know if that's what young men do, but eventually you're gonna have to think about those things. So
you're right about that.
Yeah, I know I'm right about it. Trust me, I'll be here in a minute. I know these things.
But thing is, a lot of older women of other communities who have been reaching out to me, I'm trying not to swear. It seems like it's only older Black women that say the guy has to be older in order for her to take him serious.
Listen, I know some sisters that don't mind, giving a young Thunder little run for his money. However, with being young, and I'm not saying it's about you, you can't be immature too. Because there's one thing to be younger, and there's another thing to be younger and immature. If you sitting across the table or anywhere from an older woman, she want to hear what's on your mind. Like I said, as me, I'm from the neck up as far as being attracted to a man. A woman can look at you, he's good looking, he got a little something going on for himself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was almost 500 pounds at one point in time, but the thing is, I had lost over 200 pounds. Now I'm 267. My clothes don't even fit me right. This shirt is extremely baggy. This is a 2X that used to fit me right, but now it's extremely baggy. I'm at to buy some new clothes while I'm at it too.
With that being said, you do have the ability to discipline yourself, because it takes a lot of discipline to get to where you are. So kudos to you for that. But discipline, is needed in other areas too. Because right now, like I said, you're young, you're running around like a jackrabbit, all that other stuff. But it's eventually you'll get older and you'll have to have these serious conversations with a woman. So, and as Brother Neri Muhammad said, he says, women are taught that y'all need to be virtuous. All the women got to be virtuous. You hear men talk about, I don't want a woman that's been ran through. But we never had a conversation with men about not running through everything.
Well, this is the thing with that. I have experience in that area too. Every single time I go on a date with a woman, they find me attractive. And then I'll be hoping for something serious with these old women I go on dates with. And they get to a point where they'll just be looking at me and I'll be feeling like they pressing up on me verbally in a sexual manner, the same as a drug dealer we pressing up on somebody who didn't give him his money. And then I'll eventually be pressured into,
Can I tell you this?
Yes.
I was never on any of your dates, but just kind of from what you're telling me, and this is just due to you largely being inexperienced. Yeah, so nothing, negative about you per se. But I'm imagining y'all having a conversation, and maybe they're not enamored by some of the things that you're saying, and they're like, well, I got gussied up, got a nice dress, got my hair done. Oh, he gonna serve some purpose tonight. Okay, that's probably what they're thinking, because there's a lot of men who go out with a woman and she's cute and everything, and then she, and they're like, oh hell no, but she gonna serve a purpose tonight. So what I'm saying to you is, don't think that there's not women out there who think that way. Shoot, especially an older woman who got an itch that needs to be scratched. She's like, oh, he'll do the job, because these old jokers, you know, they need blue pills and all kind of stuff. But you just when the wind blows, it's like dun, 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 dun. So yeah, she's probably, and again, this is due to you being experienced. She's probably like, yeah, no.
One thing, I wouldn't say I'm inexperienced. My first time I was 12.
No, wait.
But
I want you to hear what I said. I didn't say you didn't know how to jump up and down like a train. I didn't say you didn't know, because I don't have no knowledge of that. I'm saying inexperience as far as the things that are coming out of your mind that exit your mouth. Because if you're dealing with a woman that's older, she's got, I mean, if you talk about somebody like me, I'm 52, you're 24. Hell, I got well over 30 years on you. You know, I guess.
Yeah, you're right about that. 28 years. 28 years.
Okay, so I see, I'm not good, because I'm not good at math. But so I got almost 30 years on you. So I got 30 years of experience. So me and you were across the table from each other. What we gonna talk about?
Well, I have a routine. I use a charm these women. But thing is, it varies from woman to woman. And then thing is, sometimes it'll get to a point where some of them won't use me as a one night stand on the first night, but then we'll keep talking, and then they'll ask me to come over, and then we'll eventually end up just being casual, partners.
Yeah, you heard it, but the operative words you said was, I keep talking. Now, when you're talking, what are you saying? Like, give me an example of some conversations that you're having with these women. We're at what restaurant you taking these women to? Where y'all hanging out at when you meet them? Where y'all at?
Well, it varies depending on my budget. I said I'm financially irresponsible.
Okay, the last time you went out with a woman, where'd y'all go?
It was a restaurant called Crab Kings on Antoine.
Okay, so y'all at Crab King. I don't know what the environment is like. I guess it's okay. Y'all at Crab King and you sit down. What are y'all talking about?
But then I'm usually the type that in person, I usually just listen on the first day. Okay, and then I respond accordingly. What
was the last conversation you at the Crab King that you had with the woman? What was y'all talking about?
One thing is, that was over a month ago, because I stopped putting out on first night. Okay, I just been having casual hookups with women I've been on dates with. It has been a while.
So y'all going to the Crab King. Y'all going to the Crab King. Y'all looking at the menu and you're like, okay, great. We got some crab legs. Now let me get in your legs. I mean, there's something else. Well, then what is, I mean, so, but okay. And again, this is just a learning experience. I'm trying to help you from my point of view. You're 24, and I don't want to, demean you because you're young, but you got a lot to learn. And I'm telling you, as a 52-year-old woman who's been through a lot, 24, don't waste years chasing 5-letter kitty cat that you are not trying to be with. Okay, don't waste those type of years. Get yourself together. Go spend some more time with your father and other men who can teach you how to be an effective young man and potentially an older man in society. Learn those things, because I get it. Well, and I know you don't learn a lot on the internet, but brother, you on the internet talking about stuff. So you're on the internet to some degree. On this internet, you're getting a lot of information. A lot of it is misinformation, but the best information you're going to get is from people that know and love you and that will give you good advice. But you sitting down at the table with these women, I'm going to tell you, they probably out there because they out there for one thing.
Right.
He going to crack my back. And I'm going to have a conversation about some crab legs and whatever else he talking about. And then we going to go get to it. Let me ask you this. Do you hear from these ladies afterwards?
Only when they want some behind closed doors action.
So there's a lot of women out there that are only good for, and I'm not deducing them down to that, they're only good for a good time.
Right.
There's also men that are out there that's only good for a good time. So you gotta, because that shouldn't be up to them to define. That should be up to you to define. Am I going to be only used for a good time, or am I going to be a good time in a long time? That's for you to decide.
But this, what you said about learn how to talk. Well, this is a book I had bought right here.
All right, let's see what you got.
But this is the thing. With me having ADHD, I put off the simplest task for months on end. I had this 71 communication book bundle.
Okay.
I only got through 2 books, and I had this book for 5 months. I had to finish it and map out a communication plan to communicate more effectively.
Got you. Well, you know, one of my degrees is communication. So I know a little bit about communication. But
could you do a virtual coaching call and coach me how to become my communication coach?
I could do that. You can hit me up at demetrek.com. I could do that and put in for a consultation. But I want to say this, as far as being an effective communicator, you also have to have something to say. Right. You have to have, because what we going, like I said, I asked you, what did y'all talk about at dinner? And you're like, I don't remember. I don't know. You know,
I have ADHD, so I lose my memory easily, like within weeks' time.
It's been said I got ADHD too. If that's really a thing, because it's debatable, right? I sometimes have the attention span of a fly as well, but there's a lot of geniuses that have ADHD.
Yeah, you're right about that. So, usually,
right.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No. But what I'm saying is, whatever it is, get more information. See, you out there on these dates and you unarmed as far as knowledge is concerned. Get some more information before you get out there. Because, like you said, you're getting treated as a one-night stand. And I don't think that Donovan's cool with that, because he's lucky if, he get a 20-day stand. He get a 20-day stand, he happy.
I was diagnosed. Wait, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I was diagnosed with ADHD at 7 years old, and I was on Mondarts and medicine for it till I was 22. Like I said, I'm not 24, but now I found a way, to lower my ADHD, because I wouldn't be able to sit still if I didn't do this. I go to the gym and I do 500 reps a set, 8,000 to 10,000 reps per exercise, and I'm able to sit still like I am now. If I didn't get my workout in, I would be just fidgeting all over the place.
So it takes discipline. You got to work on that. And
Well, go ahead.
No, you got to work on that. You got to work on that. And the fact that those are issues, kudos to you, because there's a lot of grown people running around here undiagnosed, not knowing what the issue is. But I'm telling you, I can't tell you what to do. But if you got other things going on, you should not be out there dating. I mean, you don't want women to be using you. I know it's cute in theory and it sounds fun, but there's a lot of things you can get that you can't get rid of. Because if a woman is hopping on you or you hopping on her on the first night, how many other people is she hopping on?
But that's why protection is important.
Listen, let me ask you this. Is birth control 99%? I mean, 100%?
No, definitely not.
So you out there crap shooting.
Well, but I think a lot of men don't know this and they don't think about this. Usually, if I do a casual hookup, I take the condom with me afterwards, so I could probably dispose of it in a dumpster nearby.
But all right,
so she won't get pregnant.
Well, I tell you, yeah, I guess. I don't know if I want to be riding around with something used like that on my person. My thing is, and again, I can't tell you what to do, but if you are unsure that you want a child, first of all, brother, you concern, and this is not just to you, to anybody, you out there having protected or unprotected, relations with a woman, and you afraid she may take your specimens and do something with them if you leave them, you probably shouldn't be in the bed with her. Because on the worst case scenario, that thing, pops. Because that could happen. And she's like, so I'm having your baby. She started playing Jonas.
No. Thanks for my child.
Yeah, you're right about that. But thing is, in a moment of the date when they sexually pressing up on me verbally, it's like them sexually posting up on.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No.
But you're right.
No.
But it gets to a point where them doing that makes the head of my pants overpower the head on my shoulders.
See, okay, can I give you a hint or a tip?
Yes.
Keep the conversation above the neck. When that lady, and I'm using the word lady lightly, when she get to talking below your neck, you say, waiter. She says, what's going on? I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't know you like that. And how dare you disrespect me and talk below my neck? Because I guarantee you, if you was to talk to some women like that, she would say, she snatch her purse and she'd be up out of there. So you got to have respect on yourself. Why are you having a conversation with a woman about that anyway? You don't know that lady. In fact, you don't know if that lady got the little homies running around down there, the heebie-jeebies. You don't know what that lady got. And she talking to you like that on the first date. Why do you have such low self-esteem of yourself to sit up there and continue conversing with her about that?
It's like an in the moment kind of thing. And then sometimes the in the moment kind of thing turns into a repetitive, casual experience, depending on how good it was.
Ma'am, you're a lovely lady, but you're a little bit of a thought. And I do not want to continue this date here. I thought we was gonna get to know each other, but you doing too much. You know, you old enough to be my mama in these streets, and you talking about treating me like a rag doll, and I don't want to do that with you. I don't even know you to even know if I want to do any of that with you. See, that's where you got to get. You should even get to the point to where you get aroused. She start talking about, look at you. Ma'am, no.
Right. But I have to become more, sexually disciplined. Because I don't have sexual discipline.
But you learning to be a communicator, right? We all should learn to be great communicators. I don't know. I couldn't get aroused for some dude I just met, talking all filthy to me. That would be I'd be wanting to throw up because I don't even know you like that. And the other thing too is, and I'm not saying this is always the case, what we got to do is a little self-reflection. What about me has him or her talking to me so forward on the first date?
Well, that's why I plan on reforming myself after reading this communication book right here. Because many people say I act like a child on a day-to-day basis. I'm trying to move like a man that's in his 40s and 50s on a day-to-day basis. With
your daddy and them, okay? Hang around your daddy, and what does your dad do for fun? Do they go to the VFW? What do they do for fun?
I don't even know.
I'm sad. Go get to know what your dad does. Take a time. What's your day off?
It's on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm off.
Okay. Is your dad retired? He's still working?
No, he retired. My mom's still working.
Your dad has a lot of time around the house, right? Or to himself. So on one of your days off, can you do me a favor and plan a day every day with your father so y'all can hang out and you can learn of men? Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Before you go out on another date, hang out with your dad, okay? And get some good wisdom, some good knowledge, some good teachings from your father.
I will.
And I want to hear about this. I want to hear what date you picked and everything.
Well, you don't think I should read this communication book too instead of just going to my father?
That's good. Yeah, you need to learn how to communicate, but you also need to learn what to say. We also need to learn what to listen to and what not to listen to. I mean, communication is more than you speak. Nah, I speak. Okay, your turn. It's a whole bunch involved in that. It's the message, it's the noise, it's the encoding, the decoding. There's a lot of things involved in communication. But if I am having a conversation with you, what are we talking about? Because just because you speaking don't mean I want to hear what you're saying.
That's why I let the woman lead the conversation, and I respond accordingly, depending on what she's saying.
That you got to learn to be an effective communicator, and you got to get some skin in the game. That's why she like, oh, okay, he ain't got nothing to say. He may not be able to talk, but I bet you he got a good backstroke. I'm not trying to be vulgar, but that's probably what she's thinking. He ain't got nothing to say. Man, the things I'm gonna do to this young buck is obscene. So you gotta
Right.
learn. You gotta learn how to be expressive, and learn what to say. And I read books. I like to listen to talk radio so I can hear what's going on in the world. I can be well versed. And I'm not saying it's about you, opposed to just watching low hanging fruit stuff on the internet or TV and things like that. I like to read books that I can get some good knowledge. Last thing I want to do is sit across the table from a man and ask, so what do you think about the state of the political climate here in America? I don't know.
One thing I know that many people get emotional and flared up if you talk about the political climate.
I'm just using that as an example, but I'm saying be able to communicate, which is probably why, and I would say there's, women your age that will probably have the same issue. But what I'm saying is get a little bit more on the learned side before you get out there in that water. Before you end up giving somebody a baby. That. Yeah, before you give somebody a baby and they give you, something. But yeah, hang out with your daddy. Hang out with your daddy.
One thing is, I usually do 2 workouts today. I did 1 workout this morning. I'm gonna do one after I get off of here. But I'm gonna head to the gym now. Y'all have a good night.
Call your daddy.
All right, I will. After I come from the gym tonight.
Call your daddy.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Can I interject here?
Sure.
All right. That is great advice coming from a woman. And I'm just going to say this, and a lot of fellas will agree with me. Okay? Because remember, men think a certain way, women think a certain way. Men pursue, women, run around and we try to catch them and all that other stuff. That's the way it's made. That is good advice that you gave the young man. But as a man, this is what I would tell him. And this is what I know. You're young right now. Go and have your fun, because you can't be sleeping with a person by yourself. It takes 2. So if you could round up a nice little stable of old chicks or whatever it is while you're young, go ahead and do that. There's nothing wrong with it. Because as we know, fellas, as we get older, the opportunity to do that when we were younger comes few and far between. It comes few and far between. So, I'm not saying what you told him was wrong, but from a man's standpoint, that is totally opposite to what I would have given him in regards to advice. You're young, go out and have fun. You can't have fun without another partner. Go out there and meet as many women as you can and sow your royal oats. If you have to go to Queens or wherever you need to go. My son is going to, wherever he's going to go on a trip to Queens and all of that. Sow your royal oats, because when you do find the one, you won't want anything else because you've already been out there in the world. And if you're going to be doing that, of course, be responsible, be protective, and all that other stuff. But that was great advice, from a woman's perspective.
And I do know for sure this is why doves cry. That young man is in Houston where STDs is on the rise. It is extremely dangerous to even go outside and breathe. Last thing that young man needs to be out there is collecting a stable of old broads. That's the last thing he needs, okay? And them older women now ought to be ashamed of themselves. Now, I ain't going to judge nobody, but I cannot imagine why an older woman, especially one my age, would want to be with a 24-year-old. We're just not even on the same planet and nothing. Like I said, what we going to talk about?
Demetra, you haven't been on the dating scene in a while, so let me school you, my sister. It is ugly in them streets. It's ugly. The older women are competing with the younger women, so I am not surprised that he is getting these opportunities to go do what he needs to do and all this other stuff. These women are desperate. You want to know why? Because they listen to the BS of feminism, and now they're in their 40s and at least in my age group, and they're out there trying to get, whatever child they can get, even though he's technically a man, because they didn't secure the man because, they were told they don't need no man. And now winter has come. That's the truth of the matter. These streets are dangerous out here. Yes, I agree with you. Houston, according to the report, STDs on the rise, Atlanta, California. I mean, all of the major areas, people are out here hopping around as if there's no such thing as protection. And you know that I always say this. It does take 2. He can't do it by himself. It takes a woman. I still do not understand how in the modern age, a woman with over 47 different types of contraceptive can get pregnant in today's union. Men only have 3 options. Well, really 4. Cut it off, abstinence, vasectomy, or a condom. I mean, what else can you do? But it's rough out in these dating streets. I'm telling you, you've got the older women competing with the younger women, and that's where we're at today.
Okay. He don't want no younger women, so I don't even know how they entered the chat. But you said, you know, with all of these contraceptions and things going on, how is it that women get pregnant? Well, as I always say, you have the female part and you have the man part. And when you connect them, you can start making a baby. It's really that simple, okay? There's no 100% way to avoid a baby other than to avoid sticking your, plug into the socket per se. And that you say it is dangerous in them streets. So the last thing we need to do is tell that young man to get out there in them streets. Because a lot of times we think because a woman is older, like Dusty Hotep, how you doing? Says she got some dust up in there. It's been a long time. Or whatever, but then there's a lot of older women out there who it ain't been a long time, right? It ain't even been a couple of days, and they, got a stable of old faithfuls as well. But more than anything, even just beyond the physical, you're connecting your energy, and as they say, your soul ties and all that with random people, and as especially women, it's been said, we are the receiver. And y'all can do what y'all want with that, but we receive all of that. So if he's out there with the older women who are allowing, young bucks such as himself to do that to him, they're probably out there letting a lot of men do that to them. And I guess, when women get a certain age, they get a little bit more on the friskier side. And so with that, they may not be very discriminatory as to who they do that with. So I don't know. I'll just say for you men, y'all should also have some self-value as well, some self-worth. Like you got to be, I would be appalled, right? And I would expect any man that I know to be appalled that some woman they just met. Unless that's y'all thing, right? Y'all on these websites or dating sites and y'all talking like that and that's the purpose. Okay, whatever. But if I'm going on a date with you and you start talking about what's under my clothes, sucker, I'm getting up. I'm getting up and I'm going to tell you why I'm getting up. I don't talk like that with people I don't know. I'm not giving you the indication because I'm probably going to be dressed from the neck down any doggone way, but I'm never giving you the indication that I even want to have that conversation with you. See, the other thing is I believe too, as the people who are the wise ones in the community, we can't just get up and leave unless it's really egregious. We have to say what it is because it's a teaching moment for them as well, so that maybe they don't make that mistake again. Next time they go out on a date, maybe no one has ever told them, hey, that's kind of gross. How you get off talking to somebody like that and they don't even know you like that, And I don't even know if I like you. You sure would not be rolling around in no bed with me tonight and probably not no other nights no time soon, So we just got to be very clear when it comes to that stuff. Listen, this is why I'm out here dating, and GP, I don't know if he's telling these women what his end goal is. But if you're looking for a husband or a wife, say that before you get to the date. Well, I'm back dating again and I'm looking to be married. That's my end game, right? Or I'm just out here in these streets being treated like a trampoline. Either way, let the other person know so that your time is not wasted. You don't have to go on with these guessing games because that's how you end up with one person who wants to be married, somebody who don't want to be married, but y'all never even had that conversation. So 19 years later, it's like, are we ever going to get married? Did I ever tell you I want to get married to you? Well, no, you didn't. Well, you should have asked. So, the dating game is not what it used to be. I used to say all the time, man, back in the day, we used to go outside and be in a relationship, and be in a relationship for a minute. Nowadays, it's like, ugh. And I don't know how y'all do these dating apps. I really don't. I don't know how y'all do it. I mean, I've never been on the dating apps. Not something I necessarily want to do because I know there's a lot of people on there playing games. It used to say on paper, you can look good and be everything you want to be. On the internet, you could be that too. You can be very fabulous on the internet. And then you get, to the restaurant, it's like,
Ladies, stop using these damn filters.
Oh,
Stop
the men
it.
too.
Stop it.
The men
Stop it.
too, brother. The
Yes.
men too.
Stop it.
You're putting up profile pictures from when you was in high school since 1989.
Hey, I can't help. I look the same as I did back in high school. That's not my fault.
Brother, they don't even wear Gumby hairstyles no more. So I know damn well that ain't no new picture. You show up, you be bald as a cue ball on a pool table.
All I got to do is put that little quaff of dough hair right here. I'm right back in the game.
You gonna sweat that off, Joker, because y'all men have little menopause too. You gonna sweat all that off. The Beijing for men is gonna be all over your place, like all the place, like Rudy Giuliani.
Hey, how many of you guys saw that clip of LeBron and he's doing the interview and his hair is like flocking out and stuff, that little stuff, whatever he shakes on top of his head? Oh, I was just like, oh my God. But guess what? The guy's a almost damn near a billionaire. So you know what? Women don't care. And that's what I tell, and that's what I tell young guys. When you get a certain age, all women really care about is, can you pay the bills? They don't look at your looks. They ain't gonna give you no loving because your hair looks good and all that other stuff. They just care if you're a good person and you're a responsible man. So
can I tell you from a woman's point of view?
Come from a woman's point of view.
Money is cool. I'm not one of those women that's driven by money, but we want y'all to be appealing too. You know, we want y'all to speak nicely to us. We want to flower every once in a while. We don't want you to just come home and pay a bill. Hey, heifer, how you doing today, hussy? You know, we want a little bit more than that. As I always say, I know y'all talk about men are visual when you see a woman, you know, you want to see her looking good, all this other stuff. The same thing is for women. Don't you ever for a moment think that we want to see y'all running through the house looking funky and stanky too. That don't do that. I don't want no man doing it. I want you to be, you know, you ain't got to look like you did in high school, because gravity does win. As I said, y'all be sitting on your balls too. Okay. So gravity done got next to y'all as well. Okay. Things look like the wrecking ball. Look
But you forget, y'all love that. Y'all love the Yuletide hanging. Y'all love it.
Who told you that? Who lied to you? And how much money was involved when they was lying to you? I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh my God, you know, but all I'm telling these young people, guys, we know that, you know, they're doing what they're doing. No, nothing's changed under the sun. They're doing what we used to do. Just that nowadays you have to do it a lot safer. And like I said, for me, I understand how it works, but when you are a young woman and you're not at least 23 years old and you have a baby, in my opinion, really 25, anything before 25, you've just condemned yourself to a life of poverty as well as that child. And again, most likely you probably had the child with a young guy that's about your age that's just now starting out. So I'm not saying go get an older man or whatever, but you can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time, ladies. You can go to school, get your education, and find you a husband at the exact same time like all these other groups. This, oh, girl, you got time? That's bullshit. That is total bullshit.
And I know y'all men say, you know, got this wall and clock going for women. Trust me, there's a plenty of women out there, probably in their 90s. Okay, they got the men after them. Okay, so in your time or whatever, yeah, there's a man out there who wants a woman, you know, 23. That ain't you, boo. That ain't you. There's a man out there who will want you in your 50s and your 60s and all that other stuff. You know, there's some men that's like, okay, I get it. Life happens. But as I always say, having that young little tight little, you know, woman running around the house is all good and fine until you find out she can't boil hot dog water. Until you find out she don't know how to work anything. Only thing she know how to work is your credit card. And she ain't doing nothing, none of the above with you unless you paying or buying something. I've not heard. I mean, there's some of a woman that's just with a man. Oh, I love you. You're 500 years older than me. I just love you because of the little shiny little bald spot up there. And you're just such a nice guy. And that smell of Ben Gay turns me on. There's very rare. Okay. Now, y'all the men know y'all got to be cashing a woman out for her to even do any of that with you. Got to.
Well, little school marm, like I said, the young man is persistent. And I'm going to tell young guys this too, because when I was younger, I dated older women, not that old. They were like 5 years older than me. You know, whatever it is, a little experience there. Taught me a lot. But I'm going to say this, persistence does pay off. So I'm not going to tell you it's unrealistic. If you see something that you want, unfortunately, you're going to have to work hard to get it. And that's the real world. You're going to have to work hard to get it. So Demetra's here playing the game, and she's gonna, she's definitely gonna, stick to her guns. You just got to wear her down. That's all. And I believe that in all women. You just got to wear them down and be what it is you need them that you need to be for them to do that interest. So young man, GP, be persistent. Be persistent.
Yeah, and then we're about to get out of here. But Dusty, you say most of y'all microwave moms anyway. No, most of the women you talk to are microwave moms. Matter of fact, I don't even have a microwave. Okay, I don't microwave nothing. And any man I've ever been with will tell you that Demetra is not popping stuff out of boxes and cans and heating them up in microwaves. And I know, boo-boo, I know how to prepare meals from scratch and healthy meals. On top of that, you ain't just eating no nonsense because I want you to be here around. You know what I mean? And contrary to popular belief, a lot of people say, well, I just got ED, erectile dysfunction because of age. No, it's probably because your diet. Lay off the fried chicken, brother. Eat some baked chicken every once in a while, or broccoli or something. So that's the women you dealing with that's, pushing buttons on microwaves and slowly killing you, but not me.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this for the brothers out there, especially the guys that are in my age group. You got brothers that are dropping out left and right. I mean, I've lost like 3 friends in the last 8 months, just dropping out. And it's basically based on their diet. They're not working out anymore because we know those of us that are in the military, you're so used to working out that they say it's a big thing that once we get out of the military, we retire, you don't do that because nobody's making you do it. And some of you guys are genetically gifted. You come from nice, solid families where people are nice and thick and stuff like that. And then you get out and you eat a certain diet, eat a certain way, and you're not working out, that weight hits you. And then again, one of my 3 friends that passed, he was 3 years younger than me. And we're dropping. So fellas, get into the gym. And if you're a married dude and you're married, take your wife with you. That's something you guys can do together. Take your wife with you. But we are. There was a study, and Demetra, I think you had covered it. There was a study that is showing our generation of men in our age group is falling out faster than any generation before it. What could it be? The diet.
And that's partially. Hey, Brother Samuel, that's partially due to these misnomers that. A man ain't got to be appealing. He could just be whatever. All he got to do is have a big wallet, and the women will come running. No, that's true for everybody. You got to work out, eat right, and all that, especially when we get older, because like you said, we checking out of here earlier and earlier. They said a baby born today should live to at least be 120 easily with all the technology and knowledge that we have. But we see it kind of going backwards, where people are dying earlier, and that's just not the case. But yeah, we all got to work on each other, ourselves. I get it. When you're with somebody, you want them to look good too, as much as you can. But let's be realistic. Like, y'all see this gray hair in my hair. I would love to dye my hair, but I know I'm gonna have to keep doing it. But that's just kind of a part of getting older. But listen, make it funky, make it fly. You ain't got to be wearing no moo-moos and chicken frying dresses to Walmart and all that other stuff. You can make it funky, you can make it fresh, you can make it fly, like, reinvent yourself. And the same thing true for men. Some of y'all be going out there looking like, wow. Because when I think about somebody like my daddy, obviously being a member of the Nation of Islam, he liked to wear suits, his Stacey Adams and all that other stuff. But then you see some men that's like totally on the other side of that. Tennis shoes, flip-flops, sweatpants, and t-shirts, going out, on dates and stuff. Is like, wow, that's how y'all leaving up out the house, or whatever the case is. And I want to go back to this comment. Let's see here. Where'd it go? Oh, this one. Miss Sweet Talk says until they find out she got a side dude spending his money and backstroking his girl. Yeah, them young girls y'all like. Yeah, they probably got somebody else, because just like y'all get bored, they get bored too. They get bored of, wait a minute, honey. Let me get that preparation H. let me get that bin game. My knees don't work like they used to. That gets old and burnt out as well.
Hey, if I get me a young girl, she better be strong in the arms and the legs. I need somebody to push that chair.
You better be strong in the wallet too. Okay, you want a woman to be pushing your chair, changing your diapers, cutting your steak up for you and feeding. You better be strong in the wallet, boo-boo. You also better be strong in putting a woman on your life insurance, the will, the house, and all that. Because young ladies, listen to me before we leave here. I'm gonna give you some advice. Don't be with no old cooter, and he ain't helping you secure the bag if he die. Okay, first of all, get a ring on your finger. He don't want to marry you. Then say, all right, I'm out of here. And then if he doesn't want to marry you, tell him, hey, I need to get a policy. I need to be the beneficiary. I need to be having some of this house and all that other stuff. Because too often these old cooters get these young women and they die after she done pushed them around in the wheelchair, changed his diaper, and all this other stuff. And then he up and died. And the older kids that's probably older than her come in and be like, okay, hussy, you got to go. Yeah, this is our house. We know you've been here taking care of our daddy, but that's on you. So don't be with no older man, and he ain't gonna be able to help provide for you when he die. I'm just saying.
But fellas, get those passports and get those women from overseas. They'll be happy to do it.
And those women gonna want you to leave or something too.
We're not married. We gotta leave nothing. We're done. The transaction is over. It's a transaction.
Yeah, exactly. A transaction. Okay, y'all paying them, but again, make sure that sucker sign on the dotted line. I'll push you around. Yeah, doctor's appointments, VA appointments. I'll rub some ointment on you. I wax your back, and all of that other stuff. Okay, I do all that, but I need to make sure that I'm on these policies.
No, she doesn't, because I don't need no man. I can do it myself. I don't need nothing. I don't need no man. So if you don't need no man, why do you need to be on my policy? See, this is where we are at today in the world because of feminism. This is what it's brought us. Y'all are going to be equal. Get your own policy. Cover yourself.
Yeah, but you say the women they want to be equal. Well, then push your own self around. Get you an electric wheelchair.
Yeah, I'll get me an electric one, then that's fine.
Yeah, get all of that. You pay for it that way, but yeah, you got to get something out of it. Got to. So anyway, we gonna get out of here. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Know Donovan is, but what's the score, Donovan? What's the score?
Well, the game is over. The Dallas Cowboys have won. I believe it was 38-10. They are now the number 2 seed in the NFC playoff race. And for all you Eagle fans out there, they have taken the NFC East title. America, I salute America's team.
Keep hope alive. It's working. It's working. Y'all might go to the ship and you might not, but I guess that remains to be seen. Facts not feelings, knock it off. 80% of women cheat. Where is this data? Donovan, have you ever been cheated on?
Constantly.
You a lie.
Constantly.
You lying.
Constantly. And it isn't just cheating with another person. It's cheating with my wallet, doing transactions I didn't ask you to do. Just constantly being cheated on.
You sound like you need to be sucker free. It don't sound like you're being cheated on. Come to my school. I'll tighten you up a little bit. I give you the jewels that you need. But that you ain't being cheated on, my brother. Hey, Only Pamela's Way, how you doing? Who else came on here? So yeah, and then thank y'all so much. Fast Not Feeling says every woman that I was with cheated on me. Okay, that I believe. But 80% of women cheat. That's kind of a high number.
Well, would you agree, according to the numbers and what they're saying, of the men that took the DNA test, a third of women have been found to have created paternity fraud. A
I
third of
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would imagine that's true.
now think if all the men have taken the test, do you think that number would go up or would it go down?
I'm not sure. I don't
If all
know.
the men take a paternity test with their child, would that number go up or down? Now remember, from what they're going off is the men that are taking the test. They have a reason to take the test. They're in doubt or whatever, genetic thing or whatever the deal is. They found that a third of those men that, for whatever reasons, took the test, they weren't the fathers. I would surmise that if all men took that test, that 1/3 would be higher.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would. But then there's also men out there planting seeds all around and, not even knowing that they got the doggone kids. So I don't know. Listen. Yes, Don, I should name it Sucker Free, right? The Sucker Free seminar. Keep your thing in your pants and keep your skirt down and don't have relations with people you may not want to parent with. Oh my God. I don't know why that's such a hard concept. We wouldn't have these paternity problems as much if people would settle down to a good choice. Like figure out who it is you putting your seed in. And I know contraception is not 100%, but there's a lot of y'all that to be out there raw. Just in the raw. It's nasty. Okay. And let me ask you this, Donovan. Would you share your toothpaste with your toothbrush with just anybody?
I don't get the question, but no, in general, no.
Why would you share your toothbrush with just anybody?
Well, are we in a war situation where I might die tomorrow and I don't give a damn?
No, I ain't talking about you tripping. I'm just saying, sharing your toothbrush with even somebody you've been with for 20 years, it seems kind of gross, right? Like, and if you're like me, I spend probably 3 to 5 minutes brushing my teeth. So think about sharing your toothbrush with even a partner you've been with for 20, 30 years or a stranger. It's gross. You wouldn't even want to do that. You'd be mad. You'd throw the whole toothbrush away if you found out somebody used your toothbrush, right?
Well, yes, I would do that, and you'd probably do it, and most people would probably do that. But just when I went to SEER school, and those are for you guys that don't know what that is, that's like a survival, evasion, recovery thing. That's where you go out there and you learn how to survive in the woods in the military. The first thing the instructor said on the first day, he said, if you're willing to eat this, you can eat anything out here in the woods. And he was pointing to the kitty cat. He said, if you're willing to eat a kitty cat, you can eat anything out here in these woods.
I mean, I guess. I know nothing about that, okay? I know nothing about that. But the point that I'm making is treat your body parts like you would if somebody used your toothbrush. Because I'm telling you now, I found out somebody accidentally used my toothbrush, or they said, can I use your toothbrush? I left mine at home. And you're just going to be having some bad breath all day because you ain't using my toothbrush. And if you use my toothbrush, then I'm not going to use it again. So if you learn anything today, if you wouldn't let somebody use your toothbrush, don't let them use your other, receptacles and stuff. Brother Samuel said, Dimitri, using that high mathematical logic. And today, you're not, to say you're not good at math. I'm not good at math, but I'm just saying, some things just got to make sense. All right. So anyway, what you put in the Bible verse?
Yeah, this is to Benita. I hope I said that right. Oh. Benita. It's for Benita.
Yeah, Brother Don, the Sucker Free seminar, how to stay in your lane when you're getting played and how to avoid hot dog water. You know what? I like that. But seriously, though, yeah, let's, just about making better decisions. Miss Sweet Talk just says, won't share your toothbrush, but will share your kitty cat and your ding-a-ling with the world, giving it all out like Halloween candy. Yeah. No. Yeah, we discussed Cat Williams, Facts Not Failing. We did. You do want to say something about it before we leave? 8 Boy says, absolutely, child support can be quite the contraceptive. You ain't lying. You ain't. My daughter tell you all day long, contraceptive for her is to see all of her baby cousins and her friends that have children. She's like, I'm good. Because it's hard, right? So sometimes you're seeing other people with their children to do it for you. Don, you say if you use my toothbrush, I will be cleaning my toilet with it afterwards. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But some people, they don't discriminate when it comes to their body parts. I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing to me, you know?
You've got some nasty people out there. Trust me. I mean, you got some people that just don't. Well, what did we do last week with the people that in those apartments and stuff? You've got some nasty people out there. There's been a study where, okay, I guess the complaint, and I think Brother Phil covered it, where these younger girls don't know how to maintain their hygiene. I mean, it's a prevalent thing that's going on within our community where these young girls are not being taught how to maintain their hygiene. So.
Yeah, and I can just say truly from a woman's point of view, that's something you should be teaching your daughters. You know, teach them about the proper way of of taking care of yourself. You know, I would imagine just kind of thinking we all kind of have the same amount of holes. I guess I don't know, almost. But we might have a few more that need everybody needs to take a damn bath, okay? Every day, take a bath, some good soap and water. Don't just jump in there for 2 seconds talking about I'm clean. No, get in there, let the soap marinate a little bit on you and, all of that. But yeah, we should be teaching our young girls the proper way of hygiene from your head to your feet, how to take care of yourself. We should
from the head to the feet. Take that damn 4-month wig and weave off of your head and wash your hair.
Child, there's plenty of men out there that haven't gotten the memo that you should change your boxers every day. Okay, if they standing up and they stiff, that's probably an indication that you need to change them out. You know what I mean? Also, wash your clothes on a regular basis. Don't have a bunch of clothes, funky clothes piled up in your house or your room or wherever it is. Wash them a couple times a week. Change your bed sheets, periodically. Every 6 months ain't gonna get it. It ain't gonna get it. You gotta, at least once a week, wash your bed sheets or change them out or whatever the case is. Your bath towel, you know your body. But if you ain't changed it out in a month, are you really getting clean? Or are you just rubbing dirt right back on you? I don't know. So yeah, please teach your children the proper hygiene. Because I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I get sick and tired every time I go out in public of smelling somebody who ain't took a bath, whether it's a woman or it's a man or whatever. I'm like, what's going on here? Is the water off? Are they out of soap? Like, what's going on? Facts and Feelings says, I've never dated a woman with a weave. Can you believe that? I believe it.
I mean, I believe you. I mean, I'm sure that those unicorns are out there, but it's hard because everybody knows on this show, I hate weave. I hate it. I said it when it first started becoming a phenomenon. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then now you've got women my age. I saw one lady out there with blue hair. I think I sent it to you, Demetri. Remember that picture of the real life Marge Simpson? The black woman had blue hair. It's just, I don't date clowns. But I know there are women out there that still wear their natural hair. And ladies, I've heard all of the excuses. Oh, it's easier to maintain. Oh, it's growing so healthy. If it's growing so damn healthy underneath that weave, when can we ever see your healthy hair? My question.
Well, I mean, and I tell you all the time, I got natural hair. It's not always easy to maintain because for one, your hair, if it's natural, it breaks off easier than it does if it's in a perm or whatever. So some people do wear weaves to protect their hair or braids. I can't really do braids because, it'll pull my edges out. I like my edges, so I don't really
put the damn baseball hat on rather than somebody else's helmet.
A baseball hat, then y'all be complaining about the baseball hat.
Well, at least we know underneath it's your real hair. It doesn't make sense to stack your hair with somebody else's hair. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, sometimes it is a protective style. It's a protective style.
No, I get it. Yeah. I understand that. But again, a lot of men, and we keep telling a lot of women, we don't like it. We don't like it.
Can I ask you this?
Mm-hmm.
You want your woman natural? Will you pay for her to go have her hair done every week naturally?
Yes, absolutely. If that's what I want, yes, absolutely. And you know me, Demetri. If I say a certain thing and I want a certain thing, that's what I want. Period.
Y'all hear that? So when I auction Donovan back off, just know that he says he will pay every week to get your hair done especially if it's natural.
And you got to show me you're getting the hair done, because I've seen those videos where the woman was just capping and then she's taking the money and doing something else with it.
She come home and you see her hair done, you're going to know it's done. But I'm telling you, it's not all because women just hate their hair.
Then get you a style that you can maintain, that you can do it. Like I said, I would rather have you bald.
Cut it off.
I would rather have you bald, and at least I know that's what I'm getting versus this clown that I'm walking around with.
Okay, y'all heard that? Ladies, they said shave it bald if you have to. Shave it bald. Y'all can look like two light bulbs sitting up on the couch watching TV.
The black Yul Brynner and the female Yul Brynner wife. That's damn right.
But let me tell y'all something. Donovan lying. It all sounds good. I've not seen Donovan with a bald woman. I've not.
Oh, and that's true. You've never seen me with a bald woman. However, I make it abundantly. Wait. By the way, how long did I stay with those women? Exactly. I'll tolerate it for a second. I keep telling you. And then eventually I say, gotta go. I'm done.
But there's bald women out there. You ain't even gave her a shot. I know for a fact there's a few bald women or women who with low hair like you, and you're like, nah, she look like a man.
Well, when you're built like a linebacker, yes, you're definitely, no, that's not my type. No, I'm not gonna do it. Could you give me the Anita Baker pixie cut? I'm good with that.
But
I'm good with that. The pixie cut
takes a perm. That's not
okay. Well, whatever. Just what I'm saying is, you can't be like this. Come on.
You can win, child. You just can't win. We just can't win. We cannot win. I can't wait till they start mass producing those blow up dolls. Those
robots. Dolls. The robots.
I can't wait. Let's see here. Miss B, you say, I used to work at the plant and the chemicals and the dust is too much. I wear lace fronts and shampoo my hair and wig once a week. I have long hair. Yeah, there's reasons of why women will wear wigs or whatever to protect your hair. It's natural. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard to maintain. Like I comb through my hair once a week, and that's when I wash it. I don't comb through my hair all the time because it can be brittle and it'll break off. Now I can rock a short haircut, but I personally right now don't want to be wearing a short haircut. So there's things.
Well, same thing. Look, I'm a black man. I'm trying to hold on to the job. I'm just in between jobs. Is that acceptable to you guys? I can't hold the job because it's kind of hard. It's this. I know it's two different things. I'm
about to say, let me come over there. And Monica says, Donovan, we need to remember that not every woman is wearing a wig to trick a man. Right. To trick a man. So sometimes she has alopecia cancer or her hair is, let's say, in a struggle, and she's trying to get it back under control.
I agree with you, Monica. I've heard all the excuses. And again, why is it that we go to the most extreme circumstances to prove a point? If a woman has cancer, of course you're going to give her that pass. Of course that's acceptable. Alopecia, yeah, okay, whatever. Because you guys got to have your crown. We know that stuff. I mean, why is it that women think that these excuses of the extreme kind is acceptable when everybody knows that? Anybody that has any kind of compassion knows, okay, yeah, you're going to give that person a pass. We're talking about the women where there's nothing wrong with their hair. Come on, Monica. Come on.
I mean, listen, I'm not ever going to try to convince a man of what he likes and what he wants, but it's not necessarily that something is wrong with her hair. Maybe she just wants to preserve her hair. I'm telling y'all, I had a cosmetology license when I was 19. So I know how hair works. Okay. And I know that natural hair, especially for us, can sometimes be brittle. There's a lot of things we have to do to it to maintain it. There just is. And so y'all like all this glorious hair. Y'all like a hair combed out in the afro. It's cute to do, but I could not wear my hair poofed out in the afro every day because I'd be about 2 strands left, in a couple of months from, picking it out. And it's a lot that you have to go through. So I'm not making excuses for women not wearing their own hair, but in a natural state, unless you got that nice curly hair that, naturally you just wash it and go. Yeah, that's a different story. But if you got this, see, I got a lot of shrinkage on my hair. I am what they call a 4C. I'm a 4C natural, which means it's damn near like carpet, okay? So that this kind of hair is harder to maintain. So do what you like at the end of the day.
But for me, like I said, I will pay for whatever she needs to do. I mean, but I do not like, I'm one of the people that I stand on my square. And Demetra knows that. I stand on my square. I hate it. I hate it because you cannot sit there and tell me you are pro-black and you got European hair on top of your head. It just doesn't make sense to me. I get it. I understand whatever, but some of these excuses is like, nah, sorry, I can't do it. Can't. It's just the same. It's the same thing as okay, as a man. If I took a toupee and I put it on my head, would you guys accept me, or you guys would look at me as a clown? Exactly, you would look at me as a clown.
Let me ask you this: what if a woman says, "Well, I would love to date you, but you're bald"? I need a man.
I get that all the time. It ain't my fault she doesn't like Scatman Crothers. That ain't my fault. I think he's kind of, he was a good-looking man. I get that all the time, Demetra. See, that's what I'm saying. Men, most men, and I'm going to say this in a way I hope you guys understand. We live in reality. We're not delusional about ourselves. You got big Shirleys out here who think they're 10s. I'm an average man. I would say I'm probably a 6, maybe a 5.5, right? I'm average height. I'm average build. Hey, reality. But you got women out here, girl, you a 10 no matter what. No matter what anybody tells you, just total delusional. And that's the difference. Men live in reality. Women live in a different altered world. I don't know what it is. Alternate world.
Big Shirley is in the eye of the beholder.
Demetra, you have women out here that are big Shirleys. And don't get me wrong, it is what it is. But if I see a woman that is overweight and she's 5'5", let's say the average woman is 5'4", and she's 270 pounds, she automatically is a 5 to me. She's automatically a 5.
Again, that's in the eye of the beholder. There's a
That's
man
right.
out there
That's
like
right.
she's a 20.
Yes.
She's a 20 and I love her. Yeah, I was logical thinking. We didn't know Steve Harvey. Well, I think there was speculation, but sounds like it's been thoroughly confirmed by that of Cat Williams that Steve Harvey was wearing a man unit. This fool called it a man unit. The way I fell out when he said that. He said he had us all thinking he had one of the nicest lineups in the industry. He run around here with a man unit.
Yeah, but isn't Jamie Foxx, doesn't he have some kind of system or something on his head?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I heard that he did some kind of, I don't know what it is. It's something, because you notice, and if you've seen him the last 3 or 4 years, he has the same hairstyle.
I mean, he might, there's even if they're not rich, there's a lot of men running around with man units on. Y'all spray your hair because you got some bald spots or whatever. We see the paint, boo. We see the paint.
Okay? If you don't see it, you're going to see it on the pillowcase.
Right. Okay, but let that be a woman wig fall off on a damn pillowcase. Y'all gonna have a fit, but the man leave your sheets and everything else black because he's spraying in the bald spots.
You know what, Demetra? You just brought up an important point. Do you know why men we're just frustrated and we're so hostile?
You want to know why? You tell, because I'm dying to wear mine.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, because when we're with you guys and we're in that little intimate moment, I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about where we just want to hold your hand. And then you want to lean in for the kiss and you want to put your fingers through your hair. You can't do that shit with a black woman.
You damn right. You listen, as I said once before, don't let anybody just mess up your afro. God damn it, he got to be worth it. If I'm going to lay flat on my afro, you going to be worth it, brother. I'm not laying down flat in my afro for not just any old sucker. No.
Hey, do you see what I'm talking about? Because us rubbing our fingers through your hair, it's soothing to us. And it's stimulating to you guys. It's stimulating.
If I want you to run your finger through my hair, you're going to be greasing my scalp or something, okay? But you will not be putting your handprints on my hair.
Nobody wants to use Sulfur 8 anymore. Nobody wants to use that.
That's some good stuff, though. It really do help. But nah, it ain't because we black women and we don't necessarily want y'all. You can run your hair through the wig all day, because that ain't going to get messed up. But my afro, absolutely not, sucker. Absolutely not. And as I said, if I'm flattening my afro, I don't know what it got to be, but Not flattening my afro for just any old body. Ain't gonna happen. So anyway, we finna get out of here. We done been over overtime. And you talk about y'all can't run our your fingers through our hair. I mean, if we run our fingers through y'all hair, we're gonna be finger painting everywhere because all that doggone black paint y'all got up in there. Y'all ain't fooling nobody. We see the line of demarcation. It don't match the two little cuckle bugs you got in the back of your head. No, this is my hair color. This is really my hair. Mm-hmm.
Remember that episode of Married with Children where the bald guys thought they were super sexy and women wanted them and desired them?
And I'm telling you, there's a lot of women that's like, no, you are follically challenged and I want my men to have some hair. I think it's shallow, but I know women who's like, I don't want no man that's bald. It's like, come on now. He 100. He's probably going to be bald somewhere. Because there's a lot of women that's getting bald. So, I don't know. Y'all do with that what you will. But anyway, we're about to be up out of here. A comment may say you love the smell of a black woman's natural hair. Only if she washing it on a regular basis. Because some of that stuff, you hurt your nostrils. But yeah, natural hair, it does smell good. Anyway, we love and appreciate y'all. We're going to be back here on Tuesday with some more foolishness. I'm sure of it. Of course, Donovan and I will have our podcast and we'll be back live. And then Walter says that he's in it to win it. He said he ain't going nowhere. He had COVID and he's recovering. I think he's making an excuse. You know how you go to school, you give a doctor's note, you be lying. I don't know. I'm going to find out.
My dog ate my homework.
All of that. So anyway, we love and appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night. See y'all later. Peace.